you don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look at better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheap again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the third part of What If Naruto Enters Kingdom Hearts Verse. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of K.F.B. Anime 87 and Thanatos 125 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the authors too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. With Naruto. Naruto was currently dodging rapid strikes from lightning. Suddenly, she zapped him with a lightning spell. "I said no sage mode," she yelled in anger. "How else am I supposed to know where you are gonna strike?" Naruto groaned from the ground. "You get better on your own first. No shortcuts, Whiskers," Lightning said. "Now get up, before I zap you again." Naruto gave a groan, as he used his keyblade to help himself stand up. "Tired?" Lightning asked him, sounding disappointed. "Not on your life, Pinky," Naruto said in reply. Lightning smirked at this, as she thought, at least he's got a good attitude when it comes to getting stronger. "What the hell is this?" Tifa asked, as they all entered the room. "Wow, you trashed the place," Lulu said, as the room was covered in craters, burn marks, a few rocks laid about, and some water puddles. Garnet ran over and healed Naruto. "You call this training?" she asked Lightning with a glare. "It gets results, Princess," she replied with a shrug. "You could not hurt him so much." "No wonder Tink flew to us to get help," Garnet said with a disapproving look. "I don't need advice from a weakling who is afraid of her own power," Lightning said to Garnet, with a glare. Garnet looked at Lightning in shock that she knew that about her. "Yay, all the high-ranking rebels know, Princess. You could do more than just support, but you're a coward who would rather run than fight," Lightning said with a scowl at her. "Hey, watch your mouth, before I end the spar and make this a fight," Naruto said with a glare at Lightning. "What are you talking about?" Tifa asked Lightning with curiosity. "Your healer friend here is a summoner," Lightning said, getting shocked looks from Tifa and Lulu. "Is it true?" Lulu asked Garnet. Garnet nodded. "Yes. That's why I ran from my mother. She wanted to use me as a weapon, and I am afraid of this power. That's why I never said anything," she said sadly, as tears came to her eyes. Naruto grabbed her hand and pulled her into a light hug. "It's okay, I can relate to having power you fear," he told her comfortingly. Sakura nodded, as she knew what Naruto was talking about. Garnet smiled, and pulled away from Naruto. "Thanks, Naruto," she said as she dried her tears with the back of her hands. "You done?" Lightning asked, sounding unimpressed. "Yay, I am done. Let's get out of here," Naruto said, clearly upset with Lightning's attitude as he walked away. "You still need training, Blondie," Lightning shouted after him. "Not from you. I refuse to learn from someone who has no feelings," Naruto said back over his shoulder. Lightning glared at Naruto. "You don't know me, Blondie," she yelled back. "I know you're a bitch, and that's enough for me," Naruto said, as he turned around and walked over to her, getting in her face, his eyes turning slightly red. "Okay, that's enough," Leia yelled as she entered the room, and got between them as she pushed them apart. "Yay, we have good news, so no fighting, at least not until I sell tickets," Han said as he entered behind Leia. "Not helping Han," Sakura said as she shook her head at him. "What's the news?" Lightning asked as she backed away from Naruto. "Get this, Gadget Boy got the evidence," Han said with a laugh. "You're kidding," Lightning said in shocked surprise. "Nope, his niece put it all up on the information hub available to all citizens of Traverse Town," Han said with a smile. "Bad news is that he's now attacking the town with a bunch of Heartless, and is heading to the warehouse where the keyhole is," Leia said to everyone. "Shit," Naruto said, as he summed up what everyone was thinking. "We need a plan and we need it now," Sakura said. "Okay, Leia, I need you to send some men to back up my friends who are protecting Jessica," Naruto said. "You should send rebels to defend civilians too," Tifa said as an afterthought. "Done," Leia said, nodding, as she, Han and Chewie left the building to rally the rest of the rebels for battle. What should I do, Naruto? Lee asked, ready to help in any way he could. Lee, glad to see you. I need you and Sakura to go help defend the next mayor of Traverse Town, Naruto said. Jessica right? On it, Lee said as he and Sakura ran off. Okay, let's head for this warehouse in the 3rd district where the keyhole is, Naruto said to Tifa, Lulu and Garnet. Wait, I'm coming with you, Lightning said. Naruto looked at Lightning with a light glare. Naruto, we could use the help, Lulu said. Naruto continued to glare at Lightning, but felt someone grab his hand, and when he looked he saw it was Garnet. Naruto, it's okay, Garnet said. Naruto sighed and looked at Lightning. If you are coming, then let's go, he said, as he waved his hand forward. Lightning looked at Garnet, who nodded at her. Lightning watched them all follow Naruto, and followed after them. With Logan at City Hall. Talk about throwing a tantrum, Helen said, as she slugged Heartless in the face before. She leapt and kicked another one in the chest. Well, now that Doom's finished as mayor, of course he decides to destroy Traverse Town, Jessica said with a scowl at the thought of Doom. A trio of Heartless that looked like mini-soldiers were creeping up on Jessica when they were tackled by Stitch. Naga la cuesta, Stitch yelled as he ripped them apart with his claws. They keep coming, Mando said as he blasted the Heartless and shot at them with his whistling birds. Then they can keep dying, Logan yelled as he charged at the weasel-looking Heartless that had what looked like shotguns. You want to shoot me, then shoot me, he yelled out, with no fear in his eyes. The weasel Heartless aimed at Logan, ready to grant his wish, when suddenly some were blasted from behind. Take no prisoners, Han yelled, as he blasted at more Heartless with what looked like a one-handed blaster. Chewie yelled a war cry, as he shot at the Heartless with a blaster that looked like a crossbow. Secure the new mayor, Leia yelled, ordering the rebels with her. Roger, the rebels said, as they all marched towards Mando, Logan, Jessica, Helen and Stitch. Naga, Stitch yelled, blocking Jessica, growling at the rebels. Relax, would ya? That kid Keyblader sent us to help, Han said, as he blasted a flying Heartless out of the sky. Leave it to Naruto to think ahead and send backup, Helen said with a smile. Where Naruto? Stitch asked, with a tilt of his head. He's with his friends going after the keyhole and Doom, Leia said, as she raised a hand at some Heartless, which sent them flying back. Grrrrrrr, Stitch growled, hearing Doom's name. We need to go help him, Mando said. Well, the 3rd district is far away. We need a way there quickly, Helen said. But first, we need to clear out the big Heartless, Logan said, as a bunch of big Heartless that were called round bodies were approaching. Suddenly, a green blur kicked one of the round body Heartless in the head, instantly killing it. The green blur appeared in front of another and punched it in the head, killing it. Lee, leave some for the rest of us, Han said laughing, as he and Chewie blasted at the Heartless. Suddenly, a big body Heartless was picked up by Sakura and thrown at the other Heartless hard, killing some of them. Take this, Shinaro, Sakura yelled, as she slugged the ground hard, making a crevasse in the ground which some Heartless fell into. We got this, go help Naruto, Sakura yelled to Helen, Logan, Stitch and Mando. On it, but we still need a ride, Helen said. Suddenly, a white Lincoln Continental car burst onto the scene and ran over a bunch of Heartless. Good morning, Traverse Town, a voice yelled out from the car as it parked in front of City Hall. You needed a ride? The voice asked, sounding smug. What the hell is this? Logan asked, looking at the car. Long story short, he's an AI car that belongs to a member of the rebels, Han said with a shrug. Call me the Gadget Mobile, the car said, with a proud tone. Droid vehicles? Mando asked, not sure if this was a good idea. I don't care if it's AI. Let's go help Naruto, Helen said, as she approached the car. Allow me, my dear, Gadget Mobile said, as his car doors opened to let them in. Here, watch him for me, okay? Mando said, as he handed Grogu to Leia. Let's go, Stitch yelled, as he beeped the horn on Gadget Mobile. Hey, hands off, Gadget Mobile yelled out, as Mando, Helen and Logan got in the car. You know the way? Logan asked as he sat in the back seat with Mando, while Helen and Stitch in the front seats. Please, Clawboy, leave it to me, Gadget Mobile said as he took off recklessly. Aren't there traffic laws in Traverse Towns? Helen asked, as Gadget Mobile was being reckless. Traffic laws are for cars, not the gadget mobile. And please tell the mutant koala that that's an armrest, not a chew toy, Gadget Mobile said as he ran over a Heartless making his way to the 3rd district. Helen looked over and saw that Stitch was indeed chewing an armrest as he tried to pull it off. Stitch, Helen said to him, as she crossed her arms over her chest while giving him a cross look. Stitch sheepishly stopped what he was doing before he sat back as they drove to the warehouse district, with the Gadget Mobile running over whatever Heartless were in the way, with Mando shooting any from the sides. Warehouse in the 2nd district. Looks like he upped security, Lightning said, as they approached the warehouse that had automatic rail guns pointing at the entrance. How are we getting past that? Tifa asked with a worried look. Suddenly, the security guns pointed at them, and a TV screen appeared on the wall showing doom. I would leave if you wish for this poor girl and her dog to not end up a memory or worse, he said, as he showed Penny and her dog tied up over a tub of acid. Taking hostages really? Naruto asked, finding this cliché. She's just a kid, let her go, Lulu yelled out angrily. I normally wouldn't hold a kid hostage, but this brat is responsible for ruining my major career, Doom said, as he slammed his fist on the console. Let her go, you villain. You are under arrest, Gadget yelled, as he appeared flying with his chopper hat and landed next to Naruto and his group. Who the heck are you supposed to be? Naruto asked curiously. Inspector Gadget at your service, he said, as he gave a salute. Why would I let her go, when she's the perfect hostage to make sure you stay out of the way? Doom asked with an evil smirk. Suddenly, the robotic rail guns pointing at Naruto and his group powered down. What the? Doom said, as he tried pushing a button to turn them back on, but nothing happened. Suddenly, a woman in the background jumped and grabbed Penny and Brain and pulled them away from the vat of acid. What? Aren't you a? Doom demanded, seeing it was Shigo. Not against kids, asshole, Shigo said, as she freed Penny and Brain from their fired green energy at Doom interrupting him. Get her, Doom yelled, as the weasels charged at Shigo. I killed the security, so help would be nice, Shigo yelled, as the monitor went off. Let's get in there, Gadget yelled, as they approached the big metal doors. These doors are reinforced. How are we going to get in? Tifa asked, as she tried punching it, but she wasn't able to make a dent. Suddenly, they heard a car horn honking. They looked behind them and saw the Gadget Mobile fast approaching. Let's use the element of surprise, Gadget Mobile yelled, as he slammed into the big metal door hard, busting it open. What? Doom yelled out, as the doors fell down on some Heartless. Surprise, Gadget Mobile groaned out, as he rolled to a stop. I think I left my stomach in the 2nd district, Helen groaned, as she opened the car door, making what looked like candy spill out of the car. Glad you guys could make it to the party, Lightning said, as she and the others outside entered the building. Gadget jumped up to the balcony thanks to his stretching robot legs, where Penny was along with Shigo and Brain, and hugged Penny. Where's the keyhole, Doom? Naruto demanded, as he summoned his Keyblade and took a stance that Lightning taught him. Doom sneered at Naruto. It's in the basement, but why do you care? Nothing you do will matter anyway, he said as he smiled. Why's that? Naruto asked with a glare, not liking what Doom was smiling about. No matter how many worlds you save, you will never make up for your world being destroyed, Doom told him. What are you talking about? Naruto asked, as the others' eyes widened as they realized what Doom was going to tell Naruto. Doom looked at Naruto and laughed evilly. Oh, this is hilarious. You don't know, he cackled. Know what? Naruto demanded from him. When the Heartless destroy a world, it's for good. Nothing you do matters. Your world and all worlds that fell to the darkness will never come back, Doom yelled. Naruto's eyes widened in shock hearing this, as he thought when he beat the Heartless for good his world would be restored. Why, you're lying. He's lying, right? He asked, looking at Tifa and the others. Tifa and Lulu frowned and shook their heads. Garnet and Stitch looked down sadly at this revelation. Helen covered her mouth in surprise at this news, as she thought the same as Naruto. Did you all know? Naruto asked, his voice hard. Kid, we thought you already knew, Logan said. Yay, we wouldn't hide this, Mando said. Naruto, you can grieve later. We need to take out Doom now, Lightning said as she unsheathed her gunblade. Naruto gave a hard nod as he turned back to Doom and leveled his keyblade at him. You want to fight, even knowing it can't help you get your home back? Fine, let's finish this boy, Doom said as he took his glasses off, showing burning red eyes. You want to fight, Keyblader? Then let's fight, Doom yelled in a high-pitched voice as he ran at Naruto with his hands becoming an anvil and a buzzsaw. Naruto blocked and glared at Doom. Take out his weasels, I'll handle Doom, Naruto yelled to his friends. The weasels charged at them and started attacking. Tifa punched one into a wall, but it got up not hurt in the slightest. What are they? She asked in stunned surprise. They are using darkness to have the abilities of Attune, Lightning said, as she dodged an attack from one. So nothing can hurt them? Logan asked, as he stabbed one with no effect as he jumped back. It won't work anymore if they laugh, Penny yelled from the balcony. Interesting, Lightning said, as she then looked at the weasels, and she then looked at Gadget who was with Penny. We need your help fighting them, she yelled to him. On it, go Gadget oil slick, he yelled, as he jumped down and a hose popped out of his sleeve, which shot a blue liquid all over the place. Toothpaste? Stitch asked, as he gave a quick taste. Gadget slipped and fell as he lost control of his gadget. The weasels started laughing at this as they held their sides. Got you, Lightning yelled, as she slashed the leader of the weasels, Smart Guy. Ah, that won't work twice, Smart Guy yelled in pain as he aimed a gun at Lightning. Uncle, they have to keep laughing, Penny yelled, as she hid behind Shigo. Gadget thought for a second, then snapped his fingers as he had an idea. Go Gadget laughing gas, he yelled, as he started shooting out gas from his sleeves in the weasel's direction. Hey, what is this stuff? One of them said, as he tried to wave it away from his face. Suddenly, the weasels started laughing uncontrollably and started falling over as ghosts of themselves flew out of their bodies. They died from laughing? Lulu asked, bemused at how easy that was. No, that's not fair, Doom yelled, as he blocked a strike from Naruto. All is fair in a fight, asshole, Naruto yelled, as he made a clone appear behind Doom and strike him in the back. Playing dirty, huh? It won't matter, I'm the same as those fools and you can't make me laugh, Doom yelled, as he blasted Naruto with energy of darkness. True, but survive this, Naruto yelled, as he held up a charm that was shaped like a flaming skull that was glowing. Suddenly, a circle of flames appeared, and Ghost Rider appeared in front of them. Ghost Rider looked at Doom. You doomed your world to the wrath of darkness, spilling the blood of countless innocents, he said, pointing at Doom. Well, I don't like to brag, Doom said with an evil smile, but then was surprised when he was grabbed by the neck and healed up by Ghost Rider. Feel their pain, he said as he glared at Doom in the eyes. Doom started screaming in pain, as his body started burning as his body started turning to ash. Ghost Rider was soon holding nothing, as Doom faded away burnt to nothing. Geez, Tifa said in shock that Ghost Rider beat Doom so easily. I told you he didn't mess around, Logan said, as he pulled a cigar out from his pocket. Bastard deserved it, Lightning said with a glare. Naruto then looked at Ghost Rider and nodded at him as Ghost Rider disappeared, since his job was done. Not bad whiskers, Shigo said as she approached him. Who are you? Naruto asked her curiously. Named Shigo. I've been looking to join a Keyblader, so I can stop the Heartless as that's why I helped, she explained. We can discuss it later, for now let's seal the keyhole, Naruto said, as he walked towards the basement door. He opened it and saw nothing but a wall with a big keyhole on it. Naruto pointed his keyblade and sealed it, making it vanish. Let's get back to the rebels and get our ship out of impound, Mando said, hoping to have his ship fixed back up. Yay, we need a rest and food too, Helen said as she gave a stretch. Food, Stitch yelled excited as he clapped his hands together. Can I see your keyblade? Penny asked, walking up to Naruto curiosity as she was fascinated by magic. Naruto looked at Penny and smiled. Sure, Naruto said, holding out his keyblade so she can look. Wow, Penny said as she touched the handle of the keyblade. Come Penny, we need to get home. We have had a full day, Gadget said as he and Brain got into the Gadget mobile. Okay, Uncle, thanks, Penny said, looking at Naruto as she jumped into the passenger seat of the car. Yes, thanks for the help, young man, Gadget said with a tip of his hat as the Gadget mobile took off. That man was weird, Garnet said, as she had never met a man whose body was mostly artificial. I like him, Naruto said with a smile. You would, Lightning scoffed, as even though Gadget was helpful with the weasels, he was still goofy. It seems Doom failed, Maleficent said with a sneer at the image of Naruto and his friends. Not only that, but now we can't influence Traverse Town and the Keyblader can continue his quest, Jafar said, as he gripped his staff in anger. Your little spy better succeed in joining him, Hades said, looking at Maleficent expectantly. She will, if she wishes for her family to remain unharmed, Maleficent said with a confident smirk, as she showed an image of Shigo's brothers in a dark void in between worlds. I'm surprised she cares, with her history with them, Ursula said laughing, with the back of her hand to her mouth. Typical tough girl act, Dr. Fastlier said with a shake of his head. So what's the plan now? Hook asked, as he cleaned one of his pistols. We keep observing the Keyblader as he travels to other worlds, and send whatever Heartless or someone powerful to try and stop him, Maleficent said. And if the world he enters is our own? Jafar asked her. Maleficent gave a shrug, as she replied, then feel free to attack him however you want, which caused them all to gain evil grins. Maleficent left the others to check on another project she has been working on. She approached a door, and it opened via magic. She entered and saw a chained-up male. You can end this if you just submit to the darkness, Maleficent said as she looked at the man. I have dealt with too much to lose to you, which, how is it trying to stop Naruto? The figure asked, sounding smug. You will tell me what his weakness is, Maleficent said with anger in her voice. No matter what you do, he will find a way to stop you. He is way too stubborn to let you win. Trust me, if anyone knows it's me, the man said, as he leaned forward into the light, showing it was Sasuke. Maleficent growled as she left the cell. Next day with Naruto. Naruto and his group were heading to the docks, ready to continue their journey when they saw Cindy, Lightning and Shigo at the dock connected to Mando's ship. Hey Whiskers, she's all set up and ready to go, Cindy yelled as they approached. Naruto gave her a grateful nod as he said, thanks Cindy, and I hope that the ship getting impounded didn't slow down the repairs. Don't sweat it, sugar, it wasn't a problem. You just remember our date next time you're in town, she said as she smiled, and left with a wave at Naruto as she went back to her garage. And you two are here, why? Logan asked, looking at Lightning and Shigo. Well, like I said earlier to Whiskers, I'm here to join your team so I can go after the Heartless and whoever is controlling them, Shigo said. Lightning approached Naruto and said, and I'm going with you since you need more training in how to use your Keyblade. Naruto looked at Shigo and said, you're free to join. And me? Lightning asked him with a raised eyebrow. You're not getting on my team unless you sincerely apologize to Garnet, Naruto said with a light glare. Lightning blinked in surprise, but looked at Garnet, who looked nervous. I'm sorry for calling you a weakling and a coward. It was uncalled for on my part, Lightning said with her head bowed down. Apology accepted, Miss Lightning, Garnet said. Lightning snorted at this, as she said, just Lightning is fine. I'm only a few years older than you, for crying out loud. Good luck with that. She's a stickler for being polite, Logan said, as they all boarded the ship. Naruto entered his room and looked around before he saw a new item in his room. It was a picture of Cindy, and she was striking a sexy pose on a car. Naruto lightly blushed as he shook his head before he picked up the photo and hid it so that no one else would find it. He then saw another new item, a little house with a note on it. Thought this would help mend fences with your pixie friend, love Cindy, Naruto read with a smile. Tinkerbell crawled out of Naruto's hair and saw the small house. She flew over to it to get a closer look. What do you think? Is it a good house for you, Tink? Naruto asked her. She walked around it a few times before looking inside it for a few moments. She then went back outside as she gave a nod saying, it's not bad. It's good to have friends, huh? Naruto asked with a smile, as he could tell Tinkerbell likes it more than she let on. I guess, Tinkerbell replied, as she shrugged her shoulders. You're cute when you try to be tough, Naruto said with a smile at her. This caused Tinkerbell to blush, as she placed her hands on her cheeks to hide them, and to move her head away from him. A knock then came from his door, where he heard Lightning calling out to him. Open up, Whiskers, time to get back to training, she yelled. I can feel my bruises forming already, Naruto groaned, as he turned to the door. Tinkerbell huffed and followed after Naruto. Training room. Naruto and his friends were in the training room trying to get stronger, and Naruto was watching Shigo spar with Tifa. Okay, Mando said it will be at least 10 hours before we get to the next world, so I want to get you all started on learning chakra, Naruto said to everyone. That's from your world, right? Helen asked, as she stretched her limbs preparing for training. Yup, it should help you guys get stronger, Naruto said, as he made a clone for each of his friends so he could instruct each of them in unlocking their chakra. You're just full of tricks, aren't you? Shigo asked, looking at the clones curiously, as they reminded her of her younger brother. Great, a troop of idiots, Lightning said as she face-palmed. Tinkerbell was about to fly at Lightning, but Naruto blocked her and shook his head with a smile. Tinkerbell huffed in frustration and flew back to Naruto but glared at Lightning. Same to you, Shorty, Lightning said. Tifa and Lulu just rolled their eyes at Tinkerbell and Lightning. Ninjas have many tricks, Naruto said with a smile as they all got to work. 9 hours later. Wow, I'm impressed how quick you all unlocked chakra, Naruto said, as he watched his friends besides Tinkerbell and Grogu walking up walls. Can this do more than make us climb walls? Garnet asked curiously. Oh sure, I left some scrolls for some techniques in my room. Remind me to pass them out when we get back from this new world, Naruto said. An alarm suddenly went off, which made everyone wonder what was going on. Speaking of which, we are there, Mando said as they all headed to the cockpit. Logan looked at the information screen reading where they were now. Ancient China, he asked in surprise, with a raised eyebrow. Shigo groaned hearing that. Most of your team are women whiskers, so expect to get some attitude about that from the local men, she told him. Naruto scoffed as he said, any guy says anything, feel free to go nuts on him. Just make sure that you don't cripple them for life or anything, he added as an afterthought. Spoil sport, Shigo said with a smirk as she crossed her arms. Lightning snorted. I like you, she said with a smirk too. Okay, let's do this, Naruto said as they all approached the teleporters. Forest. They all appeared in a forest that seemed to be near a big campsite. Wow, this place has a lot of nature, Kurama said, as he felt at ease here. So what's the plan, kid? Logan asked him. I was thinking we say we are mercenaries that want to help against the enemies they are fighting, Naruto said to them all. If this is ancient China, I'm gonna assume it's the Huns, Helen said with a thoughtful look. Logan nodded in agreement as he said, I agree. How do we explain Grogu and Stitch? Tifa asked curiously, as they stuck out the most of their group. We could say we are from a land far away, Garnet said. Best idea we have at the moment, Lulu said nodding. Well, let's go, and remember no fighting unless I give the okay, Naruto said, as they headed for the camp. As they approached, they saw that the soldiers were getting ready to leave. Halt! A man on a horse called out as he approached them. I am Captain Shang, state your business, he said with a no-nonsense tone in his voice. Naruto held up his hands peacefully. We are mercenaries from a far-off land. We heard about the Huns, and we wanted to offer our services to try and help you, he said. He actually sounded like a leader there, Lulu whispered to Tifa, and Stitch giggled, finding this funny. Hush, Helen said with a harsh whisper. A man with a notepad rode over and looked at Naruto's group. What kind of mercenary group has women in it? He asked with a sneer on his face. The best kind, Naruto said with a glare at the man. Wow, not even an hour here and I have to hear that crap, Shigo said with a scowl. I don't see you with a weapon, smart guy, Logan said with a glare, as he could tell this guy was a weakling. The man looked at Logan with a look of anger. I am Kai Fu, the personal assistant to the Emperor, he said, sounding smug. So a weakling that can't help in a fight, gotcha, Lightning stated in a bored tone. The soldiers watching started snickering at this, as they actually agreed with the statement about Kai Fu. Kai Fu looked at Naruto. Since you are the leader of this rabble, I would suggest you teach her to stay silent in a man's presence, he said with a smug look at Lightning. Naruto glared at Kai Fu. I would watch your mouth before I give her the okay to hurt you, he said, as Lightning glared at him while grabbing her gunblade. Enough, Shang said, getting their attention. You are obviously strong if you lead this group, but how strong are you? He asked as he looked at Naruto with interest. Care to test me? Naruto asked with a confident smile as he could feel this guy was a good person even if he was a stick in the mud. Shang got off his horse and approached Naruto. If you want to help, I need to see that the leader is at least a capable warrior, he said as he unsheathed his sword and took a stance. Naruto summoned his Keyblade, getting gasps of surprise and whispers from everyone watching. What's with the looks? Mando asked curiously. You wield a Keyblade? Shang asked in surprise. Is that a big deal? Naruto asked, as he looked at the soldiers who were looking at Naruto in shock and awe. A Keyblader is seen as a person of great importance here in China, Shang said as he put his sword away. The fact that you are capable of wielding one is proof enough that we can trust you. You are more than welcome to join us, he said with a smile. But the women, Kai-Fu said, until Shang looked at him. He is a Keyblader. He has final say on who he sees as worthy of being his ally, Shang said, leaving no room for argument as he mounted his horse. Naruto put away his Keyblade and looked at Kai-Fu. For future notice, I gave my friends permission to hurt you or any other asshole that makes a stupid comment about their gender, he said with a straight face. Shigo made her hand ignite with green plasma, making Kai-Fu jump in fear. Naruto's group approached the wagons behind all the soldiers. We will help in protecting your supplies, Naruto said, with the others nodding in agreement. Very well. Now men, let's move, Shang said as they all started moving towards the path that led to the mountains. Naruto noticed a soldier was nearby, trying to help with protecting the wagons. He was giving Naruto nervous looks as they marched. Hey, relax, I'm not going to attack you or anything, Naruto said with an easy smile. The soldier jumped slightly. I'm just nervous, as I have heard stories of Keybladers from my grandmother, the soldier said, with a voice trying to sound tough. Shigo snorted into her hand nearby, while Lightning snickered with a knowing smirk. What? Tifa asked, not getting the joke. That soldier Naruto's talking to is a woman in disguise, Logan said with a smile as he shook his head. No way, really? Garnet asked, surprised. Stitch gave a nod, as he'd been able to tell as soon as he'd looked at the soldier. It's obvious, the way she walks is a dead giveaway, Helen said. That and the bad voice, Mando said, shaking his head. Why do you think she joined? Lulu asked with a curious look. I'm gonna guess male relative couldn't fight, so she took his place secretly, Logan said. Wow, she's either brave or stupid to do this, Shigo said. I'm gonna say it's a mixture of both myself, Logan said. So who wants to tell Naruto? Tifa asked. Not me, Lulu said, shaking her head. Naga, too funny, Stitch said with a giggle. Gotta agree, this is too funny to me too, Mando said in agreement. Mountains. A group of Huns were gathered together, going over plans and ideas of what to do next. Shan Yu, are you sure you can trust that witch to hold her end of the bargain? One of them said. That's Narissa to you, you fool, the fairy woman said, as she floated down with a scowl on her face. As long as we bring her the one she wants, she promised us the power to take over all of China, Shan Yu said with a sadistic grin. Indeed, and to prove I'm not lying, Narissa said, as she struck the soldier that called her a witch in the heart, which made an aura of darkness form around him, as he turned into a heartless that looked like a Hun soldier. Seeing this happen made the others back away in fear, as they didn't want that to happen to them. What is this? Shan Yu asked her, with a look of curiosity. This is the beginning of your heartless army. All you must do is embrace the darkness and use it to summon more, Narissa said with a smile. Shan Yu gave her a smile in return, as he said, You will have the one you want by week's end. Just distract the Keyblader and his friends so I can do my mission, Narissa said to him. There is a village nearby. Let's test these heartless of yours there, Shan Yu said with an evil smile. Narissa gave one back, as she said, agreed. A few days later with Naruto. Naruto and the others were getting close to the mountains and were packing up camp as they needed to continue their journey to the mountain. I swear these soldiers are getting on my last nerve, Lightning said as she helped pack up the tents. Relax, at least they haven't been making any sexist comments, Garnet said, as she tried to lighten the mood. Yay, because I scared their king, idiot, Shigo said, referring to Kai-Fu. Hehehe, Mama's boy, Stitch said as he laughed. Where did you learn that? Helen asked with a smile. New friends, Stitch said with a smile. Ah, I think he means Ping's 3 friends, Lulu said, making quote gestures with her hands with a smirk. This made them all laugh, as that name was really bad and they couldn't believe someone bought that. Where is Naruto? Tifa asked, as they finished up putting the tents away. Kid is helping Ping train. Apparently, she wouldn't stop bugging him for some tips in fighting, Mando said as he fed Gragu. Who wants to go watch? Helen asked, as they finished packing the tents. We're in, Tifa said as her and Lulu nodded. Me too, Garnet said, eager to watch what happened. Sure, I could use a laugh at both Whiskers and our resident crossdresser, Shargo said with a smirk, as she crossed her arms over her chest. They all went over to the makeshift training ground nearby, where they saw Naruto training with Ping, but it wasn't going well. Ping was getting defeated very easily by Naruto. I don't understand why you are having such trouble, Naruto said as he helped Ping up to his feet. Maybe you're just too good? Ping asked, sounding nervous. Nah, I'm holding back a lot, and I'm still beating you without trying, Naruto said, sounding confused. This is just sad, Shigo said, watching this with the others nearby. Why weak? Stitch asked curiously, not understanding what was going on. It's because she is fighting like a male, when her body isn't built for it, Lightning said in explanation. Stitch tilted his head in confusion. She's trying to fight with raw power, and she's not suited for that, Helen said, as Stitch got a look of understanding. Okay, let's take a short break, Ping, Naruto said, as he let his friend catch his breath. Thanks, Ping said, panting for breath. So what's your plan, after the war is over? Naruto asked, wanting to know more about his friend. Ping sighed at this question, probably go back to looking for a who's wife. Yay wife. My family is hoping I can find a wife soon, Ping said, while sounding nervous. Well, I'm sure you can find someone who likes you for you, Naruto said with a smile. What about you? Are you looking for a wife? Ping asked curiously with a small blush. Naruto paused and blushed, thinking about what Hinata told him. My situation is kind of complicated, so let's just say I would prefer being with someone I like. Someone who's strong, but a good person and speaks their mind. I like that, he said with a smile. Ping's eyes widened in surprise hearing this, and he looked away so Naruto didn't see the massive blush he had. Wow, it's like he just attracts them without even trying, Logan said, watching this with Mando. Kids should write a book, Mando said, shaking his head. Is it always like this? Shigo asked, while looking at Lulu. Lulu snorted. So far, at least he's not fainting anymore, she said. Lightning raised an eyebrow at this. He's shy, she asked, as that was a pathetic weakness to her. Well, he's trying to get past that, Garnet said, trying to defend Naruto. With various levels of success, Stitch. Drop it, Tifa yelled at Stitch, who was messing with a rocket in one of the wagons. Stitch dropped it and walked over to the group, grumbling to himself at being caught. You know better than that, Helen said as she pet his head. Okay, Ping, let's keep trying to get you fighting better, Naruto said as he took a stance. Ping went to attack Naruto again, and he dodged and went to attack, but he tripped and crashed into Naruto and they fell to the ground. Naruto gained his senses and felt something in his hands and saw his hands were on Ping's chest. Naruto looked at Ping in confusion. Ping? He asked in confusion. Ping's face went atomic red, and she slapped Naruto hard, sending him into the dirt. Ouch, Logan said, wincing as he felt that. Well, at least she got a hit in finally, Helen said as Stitch's laughter filled the air. Suddenly something fell from the tree nearby. When they looked, they saw it was what looked like a red lizard. Oh God, I can't breathe, the little lizard yelled as he held his stomach as he laughed. Gragu looked at the little lizard as he was interested in it. What is this? Lightning asked as she approached the lizard cautiously. Mushu, what are you doing? Ping said as he ran over to the red lizard. What you think I'm doing, girl? I'm keeping an eye on you, Mushu said as he crossed his front legs over his chest. Wait, girl, Naruto said as he looked over in surprise with a fresh mark on his face from being slapped. Obviously she's a girl, Whiskers, or was that handful you got not proof enough? Shigo asked with a smirk on her face. Naruto blushed as he sputtered out, it was an accident, while waving his hands in front of him. Better be whiskers, or we'll be having words, Mushu said, giving Naruto a glare. I'm supposed to be intimidated by a lizard? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Mushu facepalmed as he shook his head before saying, I'm not a lizard, I'm a dragon. Dragon, okay? Pretty scrawny for a dragon, Tifa said as she looked at Mushu unafraid. And what dragons have you met, Missy? Mushu asked her, sounding frustrated. The name Bahamut ring a bell? Tifa said, with a raised eyebrow. Mushu went pale hearing that name, telling everyone he'd heard of him. A cricket chirped at Mushu inquisitively, obviously wondering what had him scared. Bahamut is supposedly the god of all dragons, Mushu said in a quiet voice, but everyone heard him as clear as day. You met something like that? Naruto asked Tifa in shocked surprise. Well, me and some old friends fought him once, Tifa said, waving her hand in the air dismissively. I have seen better dragons too, Lightning said with her arms crossed. Same, Lulu said, sounding bored. I've even seen a few, Garnet added. Well, excuse me for not being like those other bigger and stronger dragons from other worlds, Mushu grumbled, as he crossed his front legs and gave a pout. Other worlds? Ping asked, with a tilt of his head. Way to go keeping that a secret, oh great dragon, Logan said sarcastically. Not much of one if they know what the Keyblade is, Naruto said, shrugging his shoulders. So what's your real name? I'm going to assume Ping was his suggestion, he asked, while pointing at Mushu. Ping nodded his head before saying, My real name is Mulan, and I joined the army because my father was unwell and he had no sons to send to take his place. Called it, Logan said. Hush you, Lulu said to him. Now that we at least know, we can get you a better fighting style, Helen said, with the others nodding in agreement. Indeed, as quite frankly you suck, Shigo said bluntly. Plus, you need a better sword style, Lightning said, with a thoughtful look. Well, we leave in 5 hours, so let's get to work, fellas, Mushu said, as he clapped his front paws together before rubbing them. The women looked at Mushu flatly, while Tinkerbell flew out of Naruto's hair and started glaring at him, with her hands on her hips. Oh great, an uppity firefly, Mushu said, recognizing what Tinkerbell was. Tinkerbell obviously didn't like being called that, as she zoomed over and punched him in the nose. Ouch, Mushu said as he rubbed his nose, while the cricket was rolling around on the ground pointing and laughing at him. Let's get to work, Naruto said, as they started training Mulan. The women were currently helping Mulan train in a new style, while the men were guarding the area so nobody came and saw Mulan exposing her secret in the process. Naruto was watching, and he was impressed with how quickly Mulan was adapting to her new style, which involved using her opponent's attacks against them. Tinkerbell was watching this, and she was getting frustrated since she heard what Naruto said about being attracted to strong women, and she felt inadequate. Kid, if you are interested in her then make a move already, Logan said, making Naruto jump in surprise. I am not checking her out, Naruto stuttered, as he looked away from Mulan. What's the problem, kid, too shy? Mando asked, as he kept up scanning the area nearby for any of the soldiers nearby. But thankfully they were near a destroyed village burying the people who lost their lives to the Huns. Stitch said something in his alien language and laughed at Naruto. Do I even want to know? Logan asked Stitch, as he had a feeling it was an insult to Naruto. Chicken was, Stitch said, as he then cackled as Naruto glared at him. For your information, it's a bit more complicated than that, furball. It involves something with my clan rules back home, Naruto said. What, arranged marriage? Mando asked, as that was the most likely scenario. Naruto scoffed. I wish that was the case. That's simple compared to this, he said, sitting down on a rock. Well, spill it. If it helps, we promise not to tell anyone, even the ladies on the team, Logan said, as he took out a flask to drink from. A promise, Stitch said, sitting next to Naruto wanting to hear what was troubling him. Same from me, kid, Mando said, with a nod along with Gragu clapping his hands to show he promised too. Naruto smiled, glad he could trust his friends. Okay, back home I'm the last of my clan, and there is a certain rule for males in my situation, he said. Tinkerbell poked her head out of his hair so she could hear this. I have to have multiple wives, Naruto said, getting various reactions from his friends. Logan choked on his drink hearing this, and he banged his fist on his chest a few times. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting that, Mando said, with a surprised tone. Stitch started laughing. Use a horn dog, Stitch said, as he rolled on the floor laughing. Oh, shut up, Naruto said with a blush. Tinkerbell went red, and took off in anger to where the women were training. Oh great, your groupie is probably pissed and is gonna tell the others, Logan said. How? Only I can hear her, Naruto said, as he shook his head at Tinkerbell's actions. Kid, she can do a lot to eventually get the message across, so I would get moving, Mando said. Naruto jumped to his feet and took off after Tinkerbell, to hopefully stop her from branding him as a deviant. With the woman nearby. Looks like you have started to get this, Tifa said, as she and the other women watched Mulan spar with lightning. Indeed, you're much better than before, Lightning said, as she put her gunblade away. I'm glad I am not so weak anymore, Mulan said with a smile, as she felt complete spiritually for the first time in her life. Tinkerbell suddenly flew over to them and started miming things at them with an upset look on her face. Whoa, Tink, what's wrong? Tifa said with a frown, as Tinkerbell seemed upset. Tinkerbell, wait, Naruto yelled, as he ran over to them. Oh great, what did you do, Whiskers? Lightning asked him. Yay, you break the pixie's heart or something? Shigo asked with a smirk. Of course no, Yoich, Naruto yelled, as Tinkerbell pulled on his hair. Let's deal with her tantrum later. I want Whiskers to spar with Mulan now that she can actually fight, Lightning said with her arms crossed. Oh sure, I'm up for a spar, Naruto said, as he approached the arena with Mulan. Tinkerbell huffed and flew to Tifa, who was sitting with Garnet. You okay? Garnet asked the fairy. Tinkerbell shook her head, showing she was mad, as she glared at Naruto. Let's just watch this spar, Tifa said, as she tried to calm her down. Naruto and Mulan stood facing each other, weapons in hand. The blonde looked at the woman in front of him, studying her stance. The way she stood and held her sword, it reminded him of someone, but he didn't know who. So, you want to hit first? Naruto asked. Please, you first, Mulan said. If you say so, Naruto quickly rushed towards Mulan, weapon raised. When he swung his keyblade, Mulan quickly parried his weapon, making him almost fall to the ground. She then quickly swung her sword towards him, but he quickly pulled himself back, narrowly missing the sword. Naruto looked at her, who was smirking at him. With a smirk of his own, he charged again, wanting to test something. He swung his sword upward, but she dodged and kicked his foot, making him unbalanced. He caught himself with his hand before pushing himself back on his feet, just in time to block a sword from Mulan. Not bad, Naruto commented as he pushed her back, finally seeing who she reminded him of. You fight like someone who can see my movements. It fits you since you can't win on a power match. Intercepting an enemy's attack is easier for someone as flexible as you. Thank you, Mulan said with a smile, as she put away her sword. Sorry about not knowing that you were a female, Naruto said, as he rubbed the back of his head. It's okay, I forgive you for that and that incident, Mulan said with a light blush. So am I strong enough for you? She asked with a smile. Oh definitely, ouch, Naruto yelled, as Tink was pulling on his hair again. She usually like this? Mulan asked curiously. With Naruto, no, so he must have done something to make her upset, Lulu said, as she glared lightly at Naruto. Hey, I'm innocent, Naruto said as he waved his arms, trying to get Tinkerbell to let him go and grabbed her. Tinkerbell then bit Naruto's hand. Oh, damn it, Tink, just because I have to have multiple wives, doesn't mean I'm a pervert, so calm the hell down, Naruto yelled as he let Tinkerbell go. This got various looks from the woman, with Mulan looking at him with the most shock. Naruto looked at the women. Look, I can explain, he said, as he raised his hands peacefully. Oh please do, Lightning said, as she started reaching for her gunblade. Tinkerbell was still upset, and kicked Naruto on the ear. Enough already, damn it, why do you care? If you're gonna be this way, go away, Naruto yelled, clearly upset. Tinkerbell froze hearing this, and she started crying and she flew off. Naruto saw Tinkerbell's tears and instantly regretted what he said. Wait, Tink, he was saying, before he was slugged hard in the stomach by Tifa, sending him to the floor. What the hell is wrong with you? She yelled, clearly upset with Naruto. Don't even joke about that, Naruto. Or I swear I'll hit you with magic that I reserve for when I want to cause pain, Lulu said with a heated glare. Yay, Tinkerbell is a part of the team, so you shouldn't say things like that even if you fight sometimes, Helen said with a frown, as she crossed her arms over her chest. I know, I'm sorry. I was just upset that she caused me to tell you all the situation with my future wives thing, Naruto said, with his head down. Wives thing? You mean harem, right? Shigo asked, while smirking, seeing Garnet blush hearing that. I was trying to be tactful with that, Shigo, Naruto said, as he gave her a hard look. The time to use tact was with Tinkerbell. Now let's go find her, and you better hope she's okay, Helen said as she grabbed Naruto's ear. Hey, I have to hear out of that. Oh, Naruto yelled as Helen dragged him off. We should go get the other men for the search, Garnet said. Good idea, princess. Let's go, Lulu said, as the two of them walked off. Mulan nodded as she put back on her uniform, so she would look like a man. With Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell was currently in a tree up on the mountain, crying into her hands at the fact that Naruto told her to go away when she noticed something nearby. A man with hawk-like eyes, and a woman with fairy wings with some soldiers. Why you can't do this? One of the men yelled at the bigger man and woman. And why not? The man with hawk eyes asked with a mad grin, as he had an aura of darkness around him. You can't turn us into those monsters, we won't let you, a soldier yelled out. Shan Yu, will you please silence these fools? The fairy woman asked him with a bored tone. I could use some help, so we can do this quickly, Narissa, Shan Yu said with a mad grin. Narissa smiled. Very well, the sooner we do this, the sooner we can kill the Keyblader, and take the princesses of light that are here, she said with a cruel grin. Tinkerbell gasped hearing this. She wants to kill Naruto, she thought in fear, as she got ready to take off back to him. She was then zapped by some lightning that made her fall to the snow below. Well, looks like we have a spy, Narissa said, as she approached the knocked-out Tinkerbell. Suddenly, she felt an incredible amount of heat coming at her. With Naruto earlier. Naruto and his friends were running ahead of Shang and his men, so they could scout ahead and hopefully find Tinkerbell. Mulan was in her armor again so she could look like a man. She saw that Naruto was upset, so she walked over to him. You okay? She asked, with concern in her voice. Naruto sighed and frowned. Tinkerbell is a non-combatant, and it's my fault she flew off. If something happens to her, Naruto said, as he dreaded the worst. Mulan grabs his hand. We will find her, she said, hoping to cheer him up. Naruto smiled and nodded at her. Thanks, Mulan, he said, glad he had friends to help him. Suddenly his keyblade appeared in his hand, but in a new form. It was red, and the handle looked like a Chinese dragon, and the blade itself looked like it was made of flames that the dragon breathed out. Hidden Dragon, a voice in Naruto's head said, as he looked at his keyblade's new form, feeling an incredible heat coming off it. We have Heartless nearby, Mando said, as he tapped his helmet to show he had a reading. Lead the way, Logan said, as he put out his cigar. According to my scanners, they are over this upcoming ridge, so stay sharp, Mando said as he closed Gragu's pod, so he wouldn't get caught in this upcoming fight. Probably best if we observe them at first, Shigo said with a thoughtful look. Good idea, let's go. That means no rockets yet, Stitch, Helen said, as she knew Stitch stole one. Stitch groaned, disappointed as he wanted to fire the rocket he stole at the Huns. The group snuck up the ridge so they could take a look, and they saw Shan Yu and Narissa with an army of Heartless and Huns. Shan Yu was turning his men into Heartless, one by one. That monster is sacrificing his men, Mulan gasped, as this was horrifying to see. It was terrible. Desperate move from a coward, Lightning said with anger in her voice. What's the fairy woman doing? Garnet asked, as Narissa looked at a tree near her and she smiled and made lightning on her hand. Naruto looked at the tree and saw Tinkerbell sitting on a branch. Narissa then shot a small bolt at Tinkerbell, hitting her, sending her to the snow. That bitch, Naruto yelled, as he summoned his Keyblade in its new hiding dragon form and jumped into the air towards Narissa. Let's go, Helen said, as the rest of them charged at the Heartless and Shan Yu. Negala Cuesta, Stitch yelled, as he rolled down the hill and rolled into some Heartless. Shigo slashed at a few Heartless with her plasma hands, instantly melting through their armor. Burn, you fuckers, Naruto said, as he swung his new keyblade and unleashed a arch wave of flames. The flames engulfed a big group of Heartless, burning them to nothing. "Ah, the new keyblader," Narissa said, as she turned to look at Naruto with a dark grin. "Hello, now step away from my friend," Naruto said, referring to Tinkerbell. "This meaningless firefly," Narissa said. "She can't be that useful to you," she said with a smirk. "She's my friend, and if you don't let her go, I'm chopping off that hand and taking her from it," Naruto said in a serious tone of voice, as his threats may have been promises as he always carried them. "Such a brute," Narissa said, slightly impressed. "Well, that's what the ladies tell me," Naruto said with a smirk. "No, we don't," Lulu said, as she blasted a Heartless with a fire spell. "Work with me here, lady," Naruto said, rolling his eyes. "Better yet, work with me," Narissa said, extending her hand out to him with the offer. "Work with a lady who's holding a fairy hostage, threatening to hurt her, nah?" Naruto said, as he shook his head. "With my help, you can reach your true potential," Narissa said, offering him power. "Yeah, and why's that? 'Cause I seem to be doing pretty well on my own," Naruto said, believing in his own strength. "Not from what I have seen. So far you failed saving your world and needed help to kill Doom," Narissa said, referring to Naruto needing to summon Ghost Rider to win against Doom. "I'm not about to lecture from some lady who looks like she killed her own friends to get where she is now," Naruto said, as he recognized the look in her eyes as it was the same one in his best friend. "You don't know me," Narissa yelled in rage. "Touched a nerve, huh?" Naruto asked, as that is one of the many signs that he was right. Narissa made a spark on her hand that held Tinkerbell, making her cry out in pain. "Stop it," Naruto said, his eyes turning red from Kurama's chakra. "Make me, Uzumaki bastard," Narissa said. "Yes, I know your story, how your parents were taken from you, so sad, but then again heroes always have a sad ending. Poor little Naruto, the last of his kind. I'd laugh if it didn't sound so pathetic. Oh, what the hell, I'll laugh anyway," she said as she began to laugh. Naruto was instantly attacking her with his blade, and he struck her hand, burning it. "You are clearly a misinformed hag," he said as he caught Tinkerbell. "Some of my friends made it to Traverse Town, so that means there are more. I just need to find them," Naruto said. "That's not what I mean. You're the last Uzumaki alive. Your own world's villages teamed up to kill them as they saw your people as a threat. Who's to say history won't repeat it with your children?" Narissa said with a grin. "The fact that I won't let that happen," Naruto said, as he gave her a glare. "Holds the most powerful tailed beast and yet can't save a fairy or his friends. No wonder you couldn't protect Sasuke," Narissa said. "I saved Tinkerbell from you," Naruto said, as Tinkerbell hovered near him, already healed thanks to Garnet. "Small victories. How can you be a hero when you couldn't even save your world, child of prophecy?" Narissa said, with a savage grin. "You are pretty well informed for an evil witch," Naruto said, as he readies his keyblade. "All villains were told of you by Maleficent. We got a good laugh hearing how sad your story was. The village hating you for what you contained. Never told about your parents. Truly pathetic," Narissa said. "That's all you got? Bringing up my past, I have already got past that, so try something else," Naruto told her, as he stood ready in case she tried anything. "Have you? After all, you have nothing from your mother and everything from your father, the hair, the face. You could have lived a great life under their name. But that pathetic old fool Haruzen never told you about. You had to meet them yourselves. Seems nobody in your village ever trusted to tell you the truth," Narissa said to him. "Again, I'm past that witch. Now let's wrap this up," Naruto said as he charged at her. "Your mother had that spirit, look where it got her. 6 foot under," Narissa said with a smirk. "That's it, now you die," Naruto shouted, as he let Kurama's chakra flow through his keyblade. "The Uzumaki's legacy is to die with you, the last bastard of their clan," Narissa said with a superior grin. "Burn to ashes, you hag," Naruto yelled, as he swung his keyblade, making white flames fly at her. "Such rage, your father would be disappointed by how sloppy his son is fighting," Narissa said, trying to hit at one of his insecurities. "Oh really?" Naruto asked her mockingly as he poofed away. Narissa's eyes widened in shock. "Where is he?" she asked herself, looking around relentlessly. She felt some intense heat above her, and she looked and saw a dragon made of white flames. "Kill me, And you'll never see Hinata ever again, Narissa said with a superior smirk. Liar, I know Maleficent needs her, Naruto said with a smug look. Narissa gasped. How did you know? She asked him, with shock in her eyes. Sorry witch, I don't monologue unlike you, Naruto said with a smirk. Enough, Narissa said, as she sent a wave of air that extinguished the dragon, and she grabbed Naruto by the throat before grabbing his head. You will tell me, even if I have to force it from your skull, she said. Tinkerbell saw this, and she charged chakra in her fist and flew at Narissa. Narissa saw this and laughed. Give me your best then pipsqueak, she said. Tinkerbell threw a punch and slugged her in the nose, breaking her nose, making her drop Naruto. You piece of slime, I'll crush you for that, Narissa shouted, clutching her nose as it bled. Nice one Tink, Naruto said as he charged at Narissa. Enough of this foolishness, Narissa said, as she sent Naruto back with a blast of lightning. I take my leave now, I'll tell Hinata you said hi, she said smugly as she disappeared. Hard to talk to someone who hid her heart, Naruto said with a smirk, at the fact that Hinata has her heart in him, so Maleficent couldn't use her power. One of these days, that smart-ass attitude of yours is going to get you killed, Tinkerbell said plainly. Not for a while, and you call me reckless miss throw a punch? Naruto asked, giving her a look. Well, it was either that, or let her find out what you know, Tinkerbell said with a blush, as she looked away and pouted. Well, I'm glad the chakra training is working for you, Naruto said, as he could tell that Tinkerbell now has the strength of a normal-sized human. Let's just deal with this asshole Hun, and get this over with, Tinkerbell said. Logan is on it, Naruto said, as he saw Logan grab a discarded sword from one of the Huns turned into a heartless, and attacked Shanyu. Tink look, about earlier, Naruto said, getting Tinkerbell's attention. I'm really sorry I said that you should leave, we were both upset, he said. Tinkerbell nodded. I'm sorry too, I was just upset thinking you were a pervert, she said. You know me better than that, Tink, Naruto said. Tinkerbell nodded as she flew around Naruto, showing she forgave him. Little help here, Lightning yelled, as she slashed a heartless with her gunblade. Sorry, I'm on my way, Naruto said, as he jumped at the heartless and swung his keyblade, making more flames to engulf the heartless. Helen was attacking the heartless with stretching punches and kicks, with Tifa slugging the heartless she tripped. Mulan was struggling a little, since her armor was bulky. Lose the armor, or you're dead, Mando said, as he blasted some heartless with his whistling birds. Mulan nodded and quickly removed her armor, and she started fighting like the women taught her, easily killing any heartless that came near. Garnet and Lulu were fighting some heartless from afar, Lulu with her magic and Garnet healing her if needed, while Stitch attacked any heartless that dared to get close to them. Duck, Naruto shouted, as everyone got down as Naruto swiped his new keyblade, and a flaming Chinese dragon flew through all the heartless, destroying them instantly. This isn't over, Shanyu yelled, as he blocked a slash from Logan. Yeah, ever heard of a bath? Mushu yelled from Mulan's shoulder. Shanyu glared at Mushu, but his attention being taken from Logan cost him, as Logan stabbed him in the heart. Nighty-night bub, Logan said, as he pulled his claws out of Shanyu's heart, making him start to bleed. Shanyu fell into the snow, as his blood stained it. Geez, Logan, you don't hold back, do you? Shigo asked, surprised Logan actually killed him so viciously, even by her standards and what she expected from the man that was overkill. I'm the best there is at what I do, Greenie, but what I do ain't very nice, Logan said, as he grabbed a fresh cigar from his pocket, before he lit it. It's fine with me, this guy was a monster, Naruto said, as that man deserved what he got. Why is his blood black? Mulan asked, looking at the snow. He sold his soul to the darkness, Garnet said, as she read in the book Merlin gave her that people who used darkness slowly lost themselves to it. Now he smells just like he is dead, Mushu said happily laughing. What's going on? Shang's voice called out, as him and his men finally arrived. Nothing much, just killed the Hun's leader, Lightning said, as she pointed at Shan Yu's body. Shang's mouth hung open, slightly surprised. You're welcome, sir, Mulan said, as she approached. Who is this woman? Kai-Fu asked, as he had never seen her before. Shang looked at Mulan, and his eyes widened in surprise. Ping? He asked, getting gasps from the soldiers. Oh, Helen said, as she knew what was most likely going to happen. Men, she thought, as men were always putting women down during times like these. Arrest her, Kai-Fu yelled, clearly upset that a woman would dare impersonate a soldier. You'll have to get through me first, bub, Logan said, as he showed his still bloody claws, making the men take a step back. You killed Shan Yu? Shang asked, looking at Logan's bloody claws. Yeah, bub, you want to be next toucher and see what happens, Logan said, daring them to try anything. No, but since you killed him you get to meet the Emperor, along with your friends. I am sure he could give your friend a pardon, Shang said with a pointed look at Mulan. Sneaky, Naruto thought, as he was glad Shang was on their side. Another one? Logan said with an unhappy look on his face. You met one before? Mulan asked, as she looked at him curiously. Lady, I'm a lot older than I look, Logan said plainly, as he was a few centuries old. What did he do, implant eagle eyes into himself? Shigo said, looking at Shan Yu's eyes as Shang's men carried Shan Yu's corpse to a wagon. Well, let's go meet this emperor, Naruto said as they headed for the capital. Royal Palace. Nice place, Tifa said, as they entered the royal chamber where the emperor was. Seen bigger, Logan said, as he looked around, having seen more impressive. Well, not everyone here is 200+ years old, Grandpa Shigo said with a smirk in his direction. Everyone that didn't know looked at Logan with wide eyes. Healing factor extends the life. Whiskers will know what that's like, Logan said, as Naruto told him his family had a long vitality, and also had a healing factor that was boosted by his chakra. Yay, but I don't think I will live that long, Naruto said with a shake of his head. Kid, with your luck, you'll probably outlive me, Logan said. Ooh, Stitch said, as he went over to inspect a big vase that was sitting nearby. Stitch, don't touch anything, Lulu said, not wanting Stitch to get them in trouble. Stitch grumbled as he walked back over to them. It's quite all right. I have been needing to get rid of that thing, an old man said, as he entered the chamber. Stitch cackled as he ran back over to it before eating it. You the Emperor? Naruto asked. Indeed I am. Are you the Keyblader that Captain Shang told me about? The Emperor asked, looking at Naruto. Yes, that's me, Naruto said with a slight bow of his head. And I'm guessing the man smoking in my royal chamber is the one who killed Shan Yu? The Emperor asked, looking at Logan, who was smoking his cigar without any shame. Yeah, that's him, Mando said with a nod. The Emperor looked at the group. Well, I would like to thank you for your help. Is there anything I can do for all of you? He asked, as it was customary to reward warriors for taking down threats to the kingdom. Well, for starters, there is something involving my friend Mulan, Naruto said. Ah yes, I am aware. Don't worry, she won't be harmed. She did well helping you. Rest assured that she and her family will be honored, the Emperor said. Kid's got more guts and honor than most samurai I've met, Logan said, as Mulan was as honorable as they came. Even by samurai standards she was loyal. Ah, you have met samurai. No wonder you beat Shan Yu, the Emperor said, as he had heard of Japan's samurai and how strong they were. Samurai, ninja, little bit of everything, Logan said with a shrug of his shoulders. We shall build a memorial, so you all shall be remembered for what you have done to help us, the Emperor said. Now, I don't know about that, Naruto said, as he didn't want to trouble them. It is no trouble. You're the second Keyblader to ever visit our world, so this is something we should always remember, the Emperor said in a simple tone. Who was the first? Naruto asked with a tilt of his head. He never gave his name, only a title. The Sage of Six Paths, the Emperor said, making Naruto's eyes widen in shocked surprise. My pops was a Keyblader? Kurama yelled in Naruto's subconscious, completely surprised by that. He's from my world, Naruto said, getting a look from the Emperor. Indeed? Then I shall pass on a scroll he left in this world to you, he said, as he pulled something out from a secret compartment on his throne. I'd be honored to accept his knowledge, Naruto said as he bowed respectively. What's in it? Tifa asked, wondering what the sage would have left Naruto. According to stories passed down, it holds knowledge on the sage's techniques. We have never been able to open it, the Emperor said. Well, allow me to try, Naruto said as he approached the scroll. Then he bit his thumb, causing it to bleed, and he then rubbed his blood over the scroll, and a seal glowed before it vanished. It was a seal. Only those that are related to or chosen by the old man could open it, Naruto said, before he opened the scroll. So anything good? Tinkerbell asked from his shoulder. It's all his techniques, both chakra and keyblade. There is also information about the keyblade, and the heartless along with other stuff, Naruto said, as the sage was always cunning, leaving hints and useful information. This is a fantastic find. Then we need every advantage we can get, Helen said, as knowledge was power. We leave now? Stitch asked curiously, wondering when they'd leave this place. Not yet, we need to seal the keyhole, Naruto said. That won't be necessary, the sage sealed it long ago, the Emperor said with a smile. So what counts as other stuff? Tinkerbell asked. Well, it's also like a diary. It has his own thoughts and adventures in it, along with food recipes for some reason, Naruto said, as the sage did leave mementos and records of his life in the ninja world. Pops always did like looking out for others, Kurama said with a smile. Anything about other worlds? Garnet asked curiously, wondering if there were any information on worlds they had yet to visit. Well, there's a seal that says summon charm. Let's see what we have, Naruto said, as he unsealed it as a charm fell into his hand. That was in the shape of a wolf's head. The charm's a wolf head? My kind of charm, Logan said, thinking it was impressive as he respected the animal. In the stories of the sage, he was capable of summoning the wolf god Moro, the Emperor said. Well, with the Rinnegan, the old man could summon any animal he wanted, Naruto said. Most likely gains this wolf god's trust because of his sage status, Kurama said. So we're getting another god's help, Lightning asked, looking at Naruto. What god? I'm no god, Naruto said. Not yet if you ask me, Tifa said as she winked his way. Oh stop, I'm still training. I'm nowhere near the sage's level, Naruto said, shaking his head. Maybe with this scroll, you can learn to use the Rinnegan, Tinkerbell said. That's a possibility, kid, Kurama said, as his father rarely left useless knowledge and he may have written things or secrets about the Rinnegan. I'll get started on training as we head for the next world, Naruto said. Are you leaving? Mulan asked, sounding sad. Naruto looked at Mulan. I'll visit, plus Garnet set up a spell mark that can let you visit me in Traverse Town, so don't worry, okay? Naruto said, hoping to cheer Mulan up. Ah, someone tell this baby I'm not a toy, Mushu shouted, as Gragu was shaking him around like a rattle. Mando chuckled at this and gave Gragu a small ball to play with so he would let Mushu go. Mushu shouted as Gragu tossed him aside and the baby began to teethe on the ball. I'm okay, the dragon said, as his head was face down in a wall. See you soon, Mulan, Naruto said with a smile, as he and his team started to beam up to Mando's ship. Wave bye to her, Mando said to Gragu, as the baby waved at Mulan. Mulan smiled and waved back, as Naruto and his friends disappeared. I hate kids, Mushu said as he got unstuck. It would appear Mulan has slipped through your fingers, the Horned King stated, as he walked into the room where Maleficent and her allies were. Come to gloat? Maleficent growled at him. No, this was just a temporary setback. There are other worlds and other pure lights to collect, the demonic king grinned, holding up an orb displaying the images of several young women. They may be able to save some, but they can't protect them all, the Horned King stated with a mad grin. Seems like that Naruto knows something, Narissa said, as she got the sense of unease that he was a step ahead of them, or had some kinda edge. Of course he knows. After all, it has come to my attention that he might be holding the lavender-eyed one's heart, Maleficent said with a glare. Narissa growled, hearing that boy knows it. He seemed way too confident that we couldn't succeed. As long as he holds her heart, we won't be able to go forward with our plans, the Horned King said, with an unhappy tone. Why not? Maleficent asked him curiously. You know we need 7 princesses' hearts to open the gates, the Horned King said. Yes, but couldn't we just replace the pale-eyed one? Jafar asked, thinking it wouldn't matter if they did. No, long ago the sage made it so the door couldn't be opened without a Hyuga princess, Maleficent said. With her, she's our ticket to that boy. As long as we have her, he won't hurt us, Narissa said with a cruel smirk. So why did you flee then? Ursula asked with a smug look. Apparently, it's not as easy to toy with the child's heart as it is back in my world, Narissa said, as it was easier then. I could have told you that, you idiot, Maleficent said, as Naruto was too pure even by those of pure standards. It appears trickery won't win against that boy. We need a way to get back ahead of him, Jafar said. For now, you will gather the other princesses. Jafar and Ursula, how is your progress with the princesses of your worlds? Maleficent asked. I've almost got that little red-headed mermaid in my grasp, Ursula said, with a savage grin. Watch out, I believe that kid has a thing for redheads, and probably that Wolverine fellow, Maleficent said, with a word of warning. Indeed? Then that's two birds with one stone, Ursula said, as she laughed and left back to her world. And your princesses? The Horned King asked, looking at Jafar. She is under constant guard. I can't get her until I find the keyhole, Jafar said with an unhappy look. I'm losing my patience with you, Jafar, Maleficent said, as she wanted to set him on fire. If I try to do anything, I will expose myself and lose my position with the Sultan. It's not as easy as the other worlds, Jafar said, as he backed away from her. Very well, get back to your word and find that keyhole, Maleficent said. Of course, Jafar said as he left. I don't trust him, the Horned King said as he crossed his arms. I don't trust anyone, Maleficent said, as she looked at her present company, wanting them to know she was. Indeed, since you lost your wings to me, you hate everything, the Horned King said with an evil laugh. Maleficent glared at him before taking a calming breath. As powerful as you are, you can end this resistance with a wave of your hand. Why keep the blonde one around? The Horned King asked her. You wouldn't be trying to lead him to me, are you? He asked with an edge in his voice. Of course not, Maleficent said as she gave him a hard glare. True, after all you betrayed this one, so why try to act like what you once did so long ago? The Horned King said, as he rubbed his hand against the cheek of a sleeping blonde woman. Maleficent had a cold look in her eyes as she left the room. So long, fallen fairy, the Horned King said as he too left. We need to slow that kid down. Any ideas? Hades asked as he looked at those still there. I'll send some heartless ships to attack them, Hook said with a laugh. And have them fail like always. I do believe there is one more way to toy with his heart, or rather 2 ways. I just need a little more magic for my special idea. But I do have 5 others that can work just as well, Nerissa said, as she held a glowing orb that had 5 figures in it. With Naruto on the ship. Gragu giggled as Tifa lightly tossed him in the air and caught him. So what world is next? Shigo asked curiously. No clue, we never know until we get there, Naruto said, as he looked over the sage's notes. I hope it's someplace we can relax on like a beach, Lightning said. Yaga Beach, Stitch said, excited at the idea. You like the beach? Lulu asked curiously, finding that odd as he seemed to hate water in general. He used to live in Hawaii, only problem is that he gets heavier underwater so he could drown, Naruto said, as he had read that information from Merlin's book. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii, just laying on the beach working on my tan, Tifa said, as she had heard of Hawaii from Stitch when he first got to Traverse Town. And this little guy can make his first sand castle, Naruto said, rubbing Gragu's head. Naga, world lost to darkness, Stitch said sadly. Just because that place is gone, doesn't mean there's not another world with an amazing beach out there, Garnet said, as she patted Stitch on the head, comforting him. Well, here's hoping we, Naruto was saying, until the ship shook and an alarm went off. What's going on? Another asteroid field? Logan asked, looking at Mando. Mando looked at his wrist. We have heartless ships attacking us, he said, as he saw multiple heartless attacking them. Even between worlds, these small fry can give us headaches, Lightning said, as she had a hard look. Looks like the enemy is getting fed up with us, Tifa said, as she cracked her knuckles. I wonder why, Mando said, looking at Naruto. Don't blame me, it was Tink who broke that witch's nose, Naruto said. Damn straight I did, Tinkerbell yelled proudly, with her hands on her hips. Gragu began to cry, as his hover carrier was going all over the place. Strap down, here comes some more, Mando said, as he strapped himself into his seat. Tifa held Gragu, trying to calm him down. Let's give them hell, Logan said with a smirk, always enjoying causing some decent chaos. And how exactly are we supposed to do that? It's not like we can just step outside, Helen said. Well, we still have guns, Mando said, seeing that as a bright side. Get to them and give them hell, Naruto said. It's okay, we're gonna be okay, Tifa said, still trying to calm Gragu down as she gently rocked him. Incoming rockets, Mando yelled, as they hit, making a hole in the ship. We have a hole in the ship, and they took out our guns, Logan said, unhappy that they weren't able to return fire. We have a world nearby, we could land and repair, Mando said as the ship shook. Everyone strap in, this is going to be rough, Naruto said. Suddenly the ship shook hard, and Naruto slipped and fell out of the ship into the world below. Naruto, everyone shouted. See. Naruto fell into the sea, and he couldn't see anything. Shit, Kurama said, not liking this one bit. Naruto groaned as he began to lose consciousness, but before he closed his eyes, he saw some figures swimming towards him. With the others. The others were on a beach with the damaged ship. Well, we wanted a beach, Lightning said flatly. Though not like this, Shigo said, as she looked around. More Gragu, he misses Naruto, Tifa said, as nothing she could do would calm him down. Well, we could try and find him with Logan's and Stitch's sense of smell, Garnet said, thinking they'd find him easily. And if he fell in the ocean, Helen said, pointing out the biggest obvious thing that could have happened. Then we may never find him, Logan said, as he couldn't get a scent with the salty sea. Naga, Stitch yelled, as he ran off to go find Naruto. Where would Naruto be anyway? Mando asked. Well, I'd want to be surrounded by redheads as I drink a beer in a chair, Logan said, with a happy look on his face. No one asked you, Tifa said, with a cross look on her face. He could have washed ashore, Lulu said, as she scoffed at Logan. Let's go help Stitch search the beach for him then, Shigo said. I'll get to work on the ship, Mando said, as he grabbed some tools. They all nodded, as the rest of them went to follow Stitch. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes. Who is singing, he thought, as his vision came into focus, hearing an angelic voice. As his vision came into focus, he saw what looked like a girl with red hair looking down at him. Great, more redheads, Kurama said, as this was trouble, and blamed Naruto's father for his taste in women. Am I in heaven because I see an angel? Naruto grumbled, as he still had a headache. Suddenly the redhead girl looked to the left, and then vanished from Naruto's sight. Naruto started to get up, and saw a fish tail disappear into the sea in front of him. Oh, you have got to be kidding me, Kurama said, not believing what he and Naruto witnessed. What? Naruto asked, not getting what happened. A mermaid saved you, kid, an actual bitch with a tail, Kurama said, still a little shocked. Watch your mouth, she saved me, Naruto groaned, as he rubbed his head. Naruto, Stitch yelled as he tackled him. Oh, easy you big furball, Naruto said with a laugh. Naruto, he heard, as his friends ran over to greet him. Are you okay? Tifa asked him, as she kneeled down next to him to look him over. Besides the fact it feels like a mountain was dropped on my head, I'm peaky, Naruto said with a shrug. Naruto looked down to see Gragu hugging his leg. Hey little guy, Naruto said, as he picked him up. Finally he stops crying, Logan said, before Tifa hit him in the chest. You were worried too, Garnet said, giving him a simple look. You're not going to believe this, but I was rescued by a mermaid, Naruto said. They all looked at him flatly. How much seawater did you drink? Lightning asked, as salt water dehydrated a person at a fast pace with the heavy salt in it. Well, what else do you call a red-headed woman with a fish tail? Naruto said with a raised eyebrow. Redhead you say? Logan said, before Lightning elbowed him hard. Would you all quit that? He said, growling. Well, if it's a mermaid, we need a way to breathe underwater, Tifa said with a finger on her chin. Isn't this the part where we change to fit this world? Naruto said, as he read that somewhere in Merlin's book. I have some magic for that, thankfully, Garnet said. Well, let's go back to the ship first so we can make plans, Helen said, as she turned around to head back. Good idea, let's go, Naruto said as they all started walking back. Gragu looked at the sea, tilting his head curiously. Yeah, that's the ocean, little guy, Naruto said, not looking with Gragu. As he looked back, he saw a red-headed woman come out of the water before waving at Gragu, and then going back underwater. Back at the ship. Hey, glad you survived, kid, Mando said, as they all approached. If you can call this massive headache surviving, Naruto said. Quit ya whining, Lightning said. Yes, dear, Naruto said with a smile. Lightning froze hearing this, but she suddenly slugged Naruto in the shoulder. Smartass, she said. Hey, easy, I'm holding a baby here, Naruto said, before he put Gragu down. He's a running, Shigo said, as Gragu was trying to run to the water. Now, you can play on the beach later, Helen said with a smile, as Gragu picked up a seashell. So what's the plan? Logan asked, wondering what they were gonna do and what the plan was. Well, first we fix this wreck if we want to go anywhere, Naruto said. Good thing we have someone who can make an entire crew of himself, Mando said, as he gave Naruto a look. Well, I can make workers for you, but we also need to split up, Naruto said, which caught everyone's attention. Split up for what? Mando asked, before looking down as Gragu was handing him the shell he picked up. Get this, kid says a mermaid saved him, Logan said with a chuckle, finding that hilarious. We've seen stranger things, Mando said, as he rubbed the top of Gragu's head. Well, I'm thinking some of you come with me to the ocean, so we can find this mermaid, Naruto said. Seems Gragu wants to learn how to swim, Mando said, as he stopped Gragu from jumping into the ocean. Any volunteers for coming with? Naruto asked, wondering if anyone wanted to come with him. I'll go, just so I can see this for myself, Helen said, shrugging her shoulders. Me too, Garnet said, as she raised her hand. Same, Lulu said with a nod. Yaga, Stitch yelled, as he wanted to swim. How can you come? You sink in the water, Naruto said, as his mass was extremely heavy. My magic can make him part sea creature, Garnet said, as she waved her hand, and he now had gills on the side of his neck. Just go before Gragu decides to go with you. Little guy really wants to swim, Mando said, as Gragu tried to get out of his arms. We can swim together when we get back, Naruto said as he looked at Tinkerbell. Can you watch Gragu for me? He asked her. Tinkerbell nodded as she flew to Gragu. Garnet waved at her staff and zapped herself, Lulu, Stitch, Naruto, and Helen. What's with the seashell bikini? Lulu asked, as she looked at her new body. She had a black fish tail and black seashells covering her top. Besides, like you're trying to get a reaction out of me, Naruto said, as he had an orange shark tail. Well, we have to blend in right, Garnet asked, as she now had a brown fish half and brown seashells covering her top. Well, let's get in the water, Helen said. She now had a red fish half and red seashells covering her top. Naga, Stitch yelled, as he flopped around as he now had an octopus half where his legs should be. You will get used to it, Naruto said to him reassuringly. Gragu cooed as he looked at them clapping. Bye, little guy, be good, Naruto said, taking off into the sea. So, the Keyblader is here, Ursula said as she looked at her cauldron, which showed her that Naruto and his friends were here. And Triton's little daughter is in love with him. This is way too easy, she said as she laughed evilly. Flotsam, Jetsam, go spy on them, and keep me informed of their actions, she said, as her 2 electric eels swam off. Ah, true love, she thought with a smirk. So easily manipulated, she thought in joy, as she rubbed her hands together. With Naruto. Wow, this place is beautiful, Garnet said, as they swam around an area with coral reefs. Then you 3 will fit right in, Naruto said with a smile. You trying to recruit us to your harem? Lulu asked with a flat look. Can't help it if I'm surrounded by gorgeous women. Besides, can't you take a compliment? Naruto said. Lulu scoffed, but she had a small smile as they swam, following some fish. Stitch was spinning around, trying to get control of where he wanted to go. Having fun? Helen asked Stitch, who was upside down looking at them. Yaga fat stretchy butt, Stitch said with a cackle. Helen sent a punch at Stitch, but he dodged. Stitch laughed and blew a raspberry at her. Helen then stretched her tail and smacked him into a reef. Stitch groaned as he shook his head before gasping as he spotted a red-headed woman and a yellow flounder being chased by a big shark. Yokata, he yelled, while pointing at what was happening. The redhead passed by Naruto, and as their eyes met her eyes widened in surprise. The shark stopped and growled at Naruto threateningly, trying to establish dominance. Naruto then roared loudly at the shark, making the fish whimper as it swam off. Wuss, Naruto scoffed, as he turned to look at the mermaid who saved him. We meet again, he said with a smile. The woman swam up to him and swam around him looking at him. Yeah, it's still me. You can thank our sorceress for becoming merpeople, Naruto said with a smile, pointing at Garnet, who lightly blushed. Sorceress? Like Ursula? The mermaid asked in slight fear, thinking of the sea hag. A who? Naruto asked, not knowing who that was. She's a sea which my father banished from Atlantica, the mermaid said. Well, we don't know any Ursulas, so that's that, Lulu said as she crossed her arms over her chest. Wait, back up. Your father banished someone? You're a princess? Naruto asked her curiously. Yes, I'm Ariel, the youngest of 7, the mermaid said with a sigh. What, don't you like being a princess? Helen asked her curiously. Well, no, not really. It's just, I want to explore and see new things. But my father is too protective, ever since my mother was killed by a human ship, Ariel said. Ouch, Stitch said, before Naruto hit him. Well, Ariel, listen. We believe this Ursula may be targeting you or one of your sisters, Naruto said with a serious look. Ariel's eyes widened in shock. Then I will bring you to the royal palace to see my father, she said. You work fast, Lulu said with a chuckle. Shut up, Naruto said, as he turned his head away. And who is your father? Helen asked, having a bad feeling. Triton, Ariel said. Oh shit, Helen said, recognizing that particular name, as that name belonged to a certain god. Bad news? Naruto asked, as he figured Helen had heard a story about Triton. Son of Poseidon, Helen answered him. My father is a fair ruler, but he hates humans. So I would suggest you keep the whole magic thing to yourself, Ariel said, as they started swimming to a tunnel that would lead them to the royal palace. They soon came to the end of the tunnel and saw a massive gold palace. Ooh, oh, Stitch said at the shiny palace. Break one thing and no dinner, Naruto said, knowing he was destructive and worse than a bull in a china shop. Awwa, Stitch said as he pouted, while crossing his arms over his chest. So Ariel, how are your sisters? Because so far you're the prettiest one I've met, Naruto said to her with a smile. Are you trying to get with her? Garnet asked with a raised eyebrow. Why is it whenever I give a compliment, you think I'm trying to recruit someone from my harem? Seriously, have you ever not heard of someone trying to be nice? Naruto said, as he threw his arms in the air. You have a harem? Ariel asked him curiously. Not yet. See, I'm the last of my clan, and by my people's laws, I can have one to revive it, Naruto said. That's so sad, the flounder fish said. Well, yeah, see, I was nothing more than a baby a few hours old when I lost my mom. So I know how you feel, Ariel, Naruto said, as losing a parent wasn't easy. Ariel looked at Naruto and smiled as they swam towards the palace. Considering how big these halls are, this Triton guy must be huge, Lulu said, taking size into consideration. Actually, he's not. It's just big because all sea creatures are his subjects, not just merpeople, Ariel said to them. Well, I hope with Stitch looking like this, he doesn't see him as with this Ursula, Naruto said. Why not? Lulu asked. Come on, evil mer-sorceress, it's obvious that she would be an octopus. I mean, that's how I'd imagine her, Naruto said. I haven't met her, but she is part octopus, Ariel said, as she had heard tales about her. Told ya, Naruto said with a triumphant look. Ariel, where are you? A loud male voice said. That's my dad, Ariel said, looking at Naruto. Naruto nodded, showing he was ready to meet him. They got to the main chamber, and saw a man with white hair and a long white beard sitting on a throne holding a gold trident. Not giant, Helen said, glad he wasn't bigger than them. Well, he's not so much a giant as just tall, Naruto said. Who are you? Triton asked, looking at Naruto and his friends. They're my friend's daddy, Ariel said, as she swam up to him. I've never seen you five around here before, Triton said, as he stroked his beard. We don't exactly come from here, Your Majesty, Naruto said, as he gave a respectful bow to him, with the others doing the same. Where do you come from? A small crab asked suspiciously, as he looked at Naruto and the others. Far, far away, Naruto said. Stitch was sniffing the crab curiously, as he licked his lips. Stitch, don't you dare, Garnet said, trying to stop him from using his stomach before his brain. How did you meet my daughter? Triton asked him. Saved her from a shark, Naruto said, while shrugging his shoulders. That shark has been a problem for years now, the crab said, as he crossed his claws in front of his chest. One roar from me, and he swam away whimpering like a wuss, Naruto said with a smile. That's so? Well, you shall be our guests as long as you are visiting, Triton said, as he gave Naruto a thankful nod. What do we do about the others? If they fix the ship and bring it down here, then we're in trouble, Helen whispered to Naruto. Naruto shook his head. They can stay on shore, don't want to cause a panic, he whispered back to her. Will there be food? Because this guy is eyeballing your crab friend, Garnet asked, as she and Lulu held Stitch back. Sebastian? Don't see why, he's too crabby, Triton said before laughing. Ariel covered her mouth, chuckling. Very funny, Your Majesty, Sebastian said unamused. Dinner shall be ready soon, so why don't you show your friends around, Ariel? Triton said to her. Okay, Daddy, Ariel said, as she led her friends out of the room. Triton watched them leave, and when they were almost out of sight, he turned to look at the crab. Sebastian, he said, getting the crab's attention. Yes, Your Majesty, he said, but attention. I need you to follow Ariel and her new friends. Something tells me they are not telling us everything, Triton said, with a careful, calculated look. You can count on me, Your Majesty, Sebastian said with a salute, before he swam after Ariel and the others. With Naruto and the others. As Ariel showed them around the palace, showing them her favorite places and anything historic that she remembered from her lessons, they soon were approached by 6 other mermaids. Ariel, who is this? One of the women asked curiously. These are some new friends that I made, Ariel answered. Ooh, oh, Ariel is finally interested in a boy, one of the women said, as her and the others started giggling. Come on, Naruto, I still have to show you my most favorite place, Ariel said, as she dragged Naruto off. Does that mean that the 2 of you are going to kiss there? One of the mermaids shouted after them, as the others giggled. Ariel blushes hard at this, but ignores her as they left with Stitch, Helen, Lulu and Garnet following after them. Who were they? Naruto asked Ariel as they left the city. My sisters, they have always been teasing me because of me being uninterested in boys, Ariel said, as they swam past some coral reef formations. So what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Garnet asked her. I like to collect things from the surface world, and sing too, Ariel said, as she was glad for the change in subject. You sing too? Garnet asked curiously, as she liked to sing sometimes when she was alone. Ariel nodded. You sing too? She asked Garnet, as she had noticed she said too, which most likely meant she sings too. Garnet nodded. I only know one song that I sing when I'm alone, she said. So that's where that singing was coming from on the ship, Lulu said, as she and the others had heard singing sometimes in the morning, but they could never figure out where it was coming from. Why so shy about it? Helen asked Garnet, as they approached a secluded area. I didn't think you would like it, Garnet said with her head down. Oh please, I heard it too and you're fantastic, Garnet, Naruto said, as he gave her a warm smile. Garnet smiled hearing this. He's so sweet, she thought. Ariel smiled hearing Naruto being nice and understanding. Okay, here we are, Ariel said, as they approached a flat rock that looked like it could be a door. She approached it and moved it aside, showing that it was a hidden door. Follow me, Ariel said with a smile, as she swam into the door. The others looked at each other curiously before following after her. What they didn't know was that Sebastian followed them as well, and he was curious where Ariel was taking them. Wow, Naruto said, as they reached the end of the hallway, which made them all look around in amazement. This is a lot of stuff, Garnet said, as she looked at a collection of eating utensils. Stitch was sniffing at stuff curiously, wondering if he could eat any of it. Hands behind your back, Furball, Lulu said as she gave him a hard look, while crossing her arms over her chest. So do you know what all this stuff is? Helen said, as she looked at Ariel. Well, my friend Scuttle the Seagull has told me all about this stuff, like recently I found this. He told me it's called a dinglehopper, and that you straighten your hair with it, she said, as she picked up a fork and twirled it in her hair before pulling it. They all looked at her with surprise on their faces. Stitch giggled and said, Seagull stupidhead. Be nice, Helen said, as she nudged him in the ribs. Ariel, your friend the seagull, is very misinformed, Garnet said, hoping she was nice enough. Ariel frowned hearing this, as she put the fork back. Hey, it's okay. I can tell you what everything in your collection is properly called. And what they do, Naruto said, as he hoped to make her happy. Yay, we are from another world, so we would know what it all is, Garnet said with a smile. Don't ask, Stitch, he will probably just eat it all, Lulu said, as she took a hairbrush away from Stitch. Ariel smiled and pulled Naruto into a hug in her excitement. Meanwhile, Sebastian has heard them admit they are from another world and swam off back to the palace to inform Triton. Ursula's grotto. It seems Triton's lackey is going to tell him about the Keyblader and his friends being from other worlds, Ursula said as she gazed into her cauldron. This is perfect. That fool Triton will be a rash fool and most likely hurt his daughter, which will make her run to someone for help, she said with a big grin. Flotsam, Jetsam, keep an eye on her so I can comfort her when the time is right, she said, as she tapped her fingertips together while giving an evil grin. King Triton's lovesick daughter will be a perfect addition to my group's collection, Ursula said, as she made bubbles appear that showed 4 figures. One was Hinata, who was asleep, and the other was a short straw brown-haired girl that was done up in braids. She was also wearing a long blue dress. The third was a woman in a yellow dress with brown hair. And the fourth was a sleeping woman in a blue dress with golden hair and red lips. With Naruto. Naruto was currently showing Ariel what each item in her collection actually was, and what it was for, and she was giving him her full attention, so she didn't miss a thing. This is so much fun. I have never learned so much before, Ariel said, as she grabbed the next object, which happened to be a pipe, to show to Naruto, so he could tell her what it is and what it was used for. What is all this? Triton yelled out, as he entered the grotto and looked at all the stuff in it. Daddy, Ariel said surprised, as she dropped the pipe in shock. Ariel, what is all this? Triton asked her, giving her a hard look. My collection? Ariel answered nervously. You collect garbage from the humans? Triton asked, looking around the grotto and at everything in it. Hey, that's uncalled for, Naruto said, as he saw Ariel become sad at her father's words. And you and your friends are not from here. You are from another world, and I'm going to assume a Keyblader, Triton said, as he turned towards Naruto and the others. What's a Keyblader? Ariel asked curiously, while tilting her head to one side. Never mind that, Triton said, as he waved his hand at Ariel. You Keybladers always bring trouble, so get out of my ocean, he said, as his trident glowed. Hey, we are only here to seal the keyhole to stop any heartless from destroying this world, Lulu said, as she gave Triton a glare. Triton looked at Lulu and waved his trident, making the keyhole appear. There, seal it and get out of my kingdom, he said. Naruto summoned his keyblade and quickly sealed it up. Look, we still need to talk, Naruto said, as he tried to resolve this peacefully. I don't want to hear it. You have till the end of the day to leave my ocean, or else I'll have you taken to my dungeons. And stay away from Ariel, Triton said, with finality in his voice. Daddy, you can't treat my friends like this, Ariel said, as she swam over to him as she tried to make him see sense. Ariel, for once just do what you're told. Now go back to the palace and stay there, Triton said, with anger in his voice. Ariel looked at her father, then at Naruto, and she started to cry. And then she turned and swam off with her hands covering her eyes. Great parenting, Helen said sarcastically. Triton glared at Helen and then turned and left the grotto, like his daughter. Well, that went well, Lulu said as she gave a huff. What should we do now? Garnet asked Naruto, who looked troubled. Comfort Ariel, Stitch said, like it was obvious. Well said, Stitch, Naruto said, as he led the way out of Ariel's grotto. How are we going to do that? Triton will most likely have told all the guards to keep us out of the palace, Helen said, while swimming next to him. Naruto scoffed. You really expect Ariel to go back to the palace? Not really, Lulu said with a shrug. I can track her down with Sage Mode, thankfully, Naruto said as his eyes changed. With Ariel. Ariel was in a secluded area as she was crying into her knees. Poor child, a voice said from above her. There must be something we can do, another voice said. Ariel looked up, while rubbing the tears from her eyes, and saw 2 eels swimming down to her, while going in circles. Who are you? Ariel asked them. We represent someone that could help you with your problem, one of the eels said. Ursula the Sea Witch, the other eel said. She has great powers. Ariel gasped hearing this, but then thought about Naruto and the way he made her feel, and decided not to leave. "Where is she?" Ariel asked them. The eels smiled, and they both swam into each other, making a poof of darkness that summoned Ursula to them. "Hello, my dear," Ursula said with a kind smile. "So you wish for the ability to go to other worlds with this Keyblade fellow? Not that I blame you, he is quite a catch," Ursula said with a smile. "You can help me?" Ariel asked her, with a curious look. "Of course, my dear, it's what I do. But it's not for free," Ursula said, as she wagged her finger at Ariel. "With Naruto." "Oh no," Naruto said, as he felt something bad happen. "What is it?" Lulu asked him, worried that something wrong had happened. "She's in the palace, but I feel something bad there with her," Naruto said as they swam to the palace as quickly as they could. They saw the guards knocked out as they swam past them. "I don't like this," Helen said, as she was sure they were going to run headfirst into a bad situation. "Keep moving," Naruto said urgently. They soon approached the royal chamber and saw Triton on his throne hurt and Ariel next to him. Ursula was in front of them, with the trident glowing with power in her hands. "I didn't want this, Ursula," Ariel said, as she looked upset. "Like I care. I finally have what I want after all these years," Ursula said with a mad look in her eyes, while grinning madly as she aimed the trident at Ariel and Triton. "Back off, sea hag," Naruto said, as he and his friends blocked her way. "Ah, the Keyblader shows up to defend the princess and her father," Ursula said mockingly. "What do you want?" Helen asked from him, as they all stood ready in case she attacked. "I have what I want, but I have an obligation to do for my group," Ursula said, as she snapped her fingers and Ariel appeared next to her in a flash of dark light. A portal then appeared behind Ariel, which Ursula pushed her through, while giving a cruel cackle. "Naruto, help me," Ariel yelled, as she tried to reach for him. "Hang on, Ariel," Naruto said, as he reached for her, before she was sucked into the portal. "5 down, 2 to go," Ursula said, as she laughed as the portal closed up. Naruto glared at Ursula, as his whisker marks became more defined and his nails became like claws, along with his eyes turning crimson. "Ooh, scary, looks like I should take things up a notch," Ursula said, as she started to grow, and as she did she broke through the palace roof, and started to head for the surface. "Let's see if your friends back on shore can defend your ship from the new queen of the seas," Ursula yelled, as she laughed loudly. "Damn it, let's go," Naruto said, as they all took off towards the surface. Garnet followed with a worried look, as she thought, if she destroys the ship, then it's over for us. I may have to finally use my power, as she was still afraid of her power. "There is no need to fear us, child," a female voice said kindly. Garnet was then pulled into her subconscious and saw 5 figures looking at her. Garnet recognized them from her books, and from left to right they were Shiva, Erift, Ramoth, Bahamut, and Leviathan, she said with fear in her voice, as she pointed at each of them while saying their names. "Relax, child, we are not here to hurt you," Ramoth said calmly, so that Garnet wouldn't be afraid. "Then why are you here?" Garnet asked curiously. "Because your friends need help, and it's time for you to stop this foolishness with fearing us," Bahamut said, as he crossed his arms over his chest. "How do I know you won't just attack everyone, not just my enemies?" Garnet asked, as she couldn't live with herself if her friends were hurt because of her. "My child, we are only able to do what our summoner wishes of us. No more, no less," Shiva said with a kind smile. "You all promise?" Garnet said, as she looked at the 5 summons. "Our word is our bond, child. Just leave it to us. We can help you carry some of the burden you and your friends face," Leviathan said. "You better decide soon. You are approaching that which soon," Erift growled out. Garnet nodded, as she left her subconscious. With Tifa. The rest of the group were working on the ship and were doing very well, when Ursula finally made it to the surface. "What the heck is that supposed to be?" Mando asked, as he put his tools down before grabbing his sniper rifle and trained it on the giant octopus woman. Logan shook his head saying, "No clue, but whatever it is seems to be heading our way." And indeed she was, and as she moved her giant tentacles were creating large waves. "How are we supposed to stop her?" Tifa asked, as they were all too small to do any real damage to something that size. "If the ship was repaired I could fly it while blasting her, but the engines haven't been fixed yet," Mando said. What would it take to fix it? Lightning said, as she picked up Grogu and put him in his pod for safety. We need to recharge the battery that runs the engine, Mando said as he readied his blaster. Could we convert my plasma into energy to charge the battery? Shigo asked as she ignited her hands. Mando gave it some thought before saying, It's possible, but we need to buy some time so we can do it. Suddenly, Ursula was struck by a big Thundaga spell from behind, courtesy of Lulu. Og, you dare strike the new queen of the seas? Ursula demanded, as she turned to look at Naruto, Stitch, Lulu, Garnet and Helen who made it to shore, and were turned back to normal by Garnet. I dare to do more than that, you fat witch, Naruto yelled, as he ran on the water at Ursula with his keyblade out, which turned blue and looked like the edge was a whirlpool. Rising tide, Naruto heard a voice say, as he jumped in the air and swung his keyblade at Ursula, which sent a wave of water at the sea witch. Ursula put one of her tentacles in the way of his attack. It seems that stupid girl left you with a gift in that new keyblade of yours, she said with a sneer, as she cackled loudly. Naruto growled and channeled some chakra into his new keyblade and made a massive tidal wave form behind him. I wouldn't do that if I were you, boy. You may hurt your precious ship, Ursula said, while pointing at Mando's ship where his friends were. Naruto hesitated hearing this, as she was right. Got ya, Ursula yelled, as she blasted Naruto, sending him into the water, making him fall into the water. Naruto, everyone yelled as he fell in. Shigo, help me charge this, Mando yelled as he showed her where the battery was. Shigo nodded as she ran over to help Mando, while igniting her hands. Garnet made a fist with her hands as she made a decision. She held up her staff as she started to glow brightly. Garnet? Helen asked, not knowing what was going to happen. Lulu smiled as she knew what Garnet was about to do, and she was proud. Goddess of ice and cold, I summon and invoke your name Shiva, Garnet yelled, as a massive icicle suddenly appeared in the ocean before it broke into pieces, revealing a woman that was ice blue. Logan's jaw slightly dropped, seeing this as he didn't expect Garnet to be a summoner. Ursula looked at the being that Garnet summoned and scowled. This will change nothing. Prepare to be destroyed, she yelled out, as she held up the trident in her hand, and made a lightning storm start to form, and lightning started striking around her as if it was defending her. Shiva charged at Ursula and dodged the lightning, as she sent blasts of ice at her which caused some damage. We can't let Garnet and Shiva do this alone. Get that ship charged, Lightning yelled at Mando as he fiddled with some wires. Already on it, we are at full power, Mando said, as he started the ship. Everyone, get to a gun and open fire on that hag, Logan yelled as the ship took off. Way ahead of you, old man, Shigo said with a grin, as she got into the gunner's seat and started firing at Ursula with the ship's lasers. You think this is enough to stop me? Ursula yelled as she tried to block the lasers from hitting her, along with trying to bring the ship down with her tentacles. Luckily, Mando was able to dodge the tentacles, along with blasting a few with his front weapons. Suddenly, some of her tentacles were sliced off, as Naruto shot out of the water with a torrent of water flying around him rapidly, ready to cut anything that dared to come close to pieces. Ah, you dare? Ursula yelled, as the 3 tentacles that Naruto took were bleeding badly. Tinkerbell flew to him, and covered him in pixie dust so he could fly for this fight. Thanks, Tink, and don't worry, I'm fine, Naruto said, as Tink looked at him in worry since he still had a burn in his chest from Ursula's attack. You might be fine now, but you won't be for long, Ursula said, as she tried to hit him with the trident, with Naruto flying out of the way just in time. That's why I'm ending this now. Shiva, use diamond dust, Garnet yelled from the ship. Shiva nodded and started gathering power in her hands. When she was ready, she fired at Ursula. No, this shouldn't be possible, Ursula yelled, as her body started to freeze over. The trident will protect me, she yelled, confident that as long as she held the trident she couldn't lose. Suddenly, Naruto sliced the hand that was holding the trident clean off. What trident? Naruto asked with a glare, as the trident shrunk back to normal and fell into the ocean. Shiva grinned and pumped more power into her attack, making it bigger. Nu-woo, Ursula yelled as she was frozen completely, making her an ice statue. Shiva then snapped her fingers, making Ursula explode, leaving nothing but the falling ice that was the now dead Ursula. Shiva looked at Garnet, who was looking at her from the ship's window, and nodded as she disappeared in a flash of light, along with some snow and ice. "Wow, who knew you had this in you, Squirt?" Logan said as he patted Garnet on the head. Garnet started catching her breath as she felt exhausted. "You okay?" Helen asked worriedly. Garnet gave a small nod as she gasped out, "Yes, it's just that summoning takes a lot of energy to do." "Well, you did good," Lightning said with a satisfied look at the fact that Garnet finally stepped up and used her powers. Naruto landed on the shore and looked at the sea with a contemplative look on his face. "What's wrong?" Tinkerbell asked him as she hovered next to him. "We may have one, but Ursula sent the princess of this world to Maleficent, and she said that they have 5 of the 7, which means only 2 of them are left, and we have no idea who they are," he said. "That shouldn't be a problem," Garnet said as she walked over to him. Naruto gave her a questioning look before saying, "Why do you say that?" "I kind of read the Sage Scroll and saw that long ago the sage made it so a Hyuga princess is required to open the door. So no matter how many princesses they take, they can't open the door without your friend Hinata's heart," Garnet told him. Naruto's eyes widened in realization. "And Hinata's heart is in me," he said. Garnet smiled at him. "Exactly, they can't win without beating you," she said, happy that he was a bit better. Naruto laughed at this. "Ha! Take that, you witch," he says, obviously referring to Maleficent. Triton then rose to the surface, with his trident in his hands. "Before you say anything, old man, rest assured that me and my team won't rest until we save Ariel and the others they have taken," Naruto said, a determined look in his eyes. Triton gave him a hard look but then sighed. "Very well, I will leave my daughter's rescue to you. And rest assured, you are welcome in my kingdom for defeating Ursula," he said, as he bowed his head slightly. "Don't thank me, thank my friend," Naruto said, as he pulled Garnet over to him so Triton could thank her. "This young lady defeated Ursula?" Triton asked with a raised eyebrow. "She summoned this ice lady to help us defeat her," Naruto said. "Shiva, Naruto, the ice lady is called Shiva," Garnet said, wanting him to get the name right. "Ah, you have a summoner with you. I have heard of such people in legends," Triton said, gaining a look of understanding. "Well, you and all your friends have my thanks, and I wish you luck on your journey," Triton said as he turned to leave. Naruto nodded and he then turned to Garnet. "I can't believe you are capable of summoning things like that. You are way more powerful than I thought," he said as they approached their ship, where the others were waiting. Garnet blushed at his praise and smiled. "I'm glad I am not a burden anymore," she said. Naruto frowned and grabbed her gloved hand. "Garnet, you were never a burden to me, or to the others," he said to her. Garnet lightly blushed and looked at Naruto in the eyes. "Thank you, Naruto," she said as they looked into each other's eyes. Tink then flew around them, getting their attention. Right, we better get going. We can't relax, even if we do have an advantage over the enemy with Hinata's heart," Naruto said, as he and Garnet ran back to the ship with Tinkerbell flying after them. Well, it would seem that this Keyblader not only has a summoner on his team, but he's also willing to get his hands bloody, the Horned King said, as the group looked at the image of the battle with Ursula. Ursula was too cocky, and that led to her downfall against this Keyblader, Jafar said, as he looked at the image of Naruto attacking Ursula. "Even if it did, she was able to send us the princess of that world," Hades said, as Ariel was in a bubble like the others. "Yes, but it seems that your hypothesis about the boy having the pale-eyed one's heart inside him is confirmed," Dr. Facilier said to the Horned King. "Relax, eventually we will take him out and free her heart. The brat isn't invincible," Hook said, as he played with his hook. "Well said, Captain," Maleficent said, as she agreed with him. "What world is he heading for now?" Dr. Facilier asked as his shadow nodded, wanting to know too. "It would appear to be the world you sent that beast fella to, my good doctor," Jafar said, as he stroked the top of his staff. "They have a princess in that world. I shall go retrieve her for you," Pete said as he left in a dark portal. "Anyone tell that fool that this princess is a warrior, and won't come easily like the others?" Hades asked. "Let the fool succeed, or fail on his own," Maleficent said with a sneer, as she didn't care either way. with Naruto. Naruto was currently practicing with his Keyblade in the training room by trying to master switching between his different themes instantly. Still too slow, Lightning said as she attacked him, but had to jump back as Naruto instantly switched to his hidden dragon Keyblade and sent some flames at her. Maybe I was trying to lure you in, Pinky, Naruto said, with a smile at her. Lightning scoffed. Insulting my hair won't make me be reckless, Whiskers, she said. She was slightly impressed though, as she found it clever that he lured her into thinking he was being slow changing his Keyblade's themes. Who said I'm insulting your hair? It's beautiful, Naruto said in total honesty. Lightning looked at Naruto and jumped at him. Shit, Naruto thought, flinching thinking she was gonna hurt him. But he was surprised when she kissed his forehead instead. Naruto was shocked that she did this, but before he could say anything she hit him in the gut with the handle of her gunblade, making him fall to the ground in pain as he held his stomach. Looks like I win, Whiskers, Lightning said with a small smile as she put her gunblade away. And no fair, making me think you like me, Naruto groaned out as he tried to get up from the ground. Who said I don't like you? Lightning asked as she left the training room, leaving Naruto speechless as she added an extra sway to her hips. Naruto watched this while still holding his stomach. Women are weird, he thought as he finally got up. Hey Naruto, Lulu said as she entered the training room. Yes, Lulu, Naruto said, wanting to know what his friend wanted. I think it's time that I started teaching you magic. You can use it with your Keyblade, and this whole time you haven't used it at all. We have about an hour until the next world, so let's get some basic spells mastered, she said as she rubbed her hands together. That's a great idea, thanks Lulu. I couldn't ask for a better teacher, Naruto said with a smile. Flattery won't get you too far with me, but you're sweet for trying anyway. Now let's start with the fire spell, Lulu said with a kind smile. An hour later. I can't believe you mastered all the first level magic spells in an hour, Lulu said, sounding both proud and frustrated as they approached the teleporters. What can I say, I'm a quick learner. Plus I have a fantastic teacher, Naruto said, as he rubbed the back of his head with a smile. Lulu picked his cheek with a smile. Don't get cocky, you're still a rookie magic-wise, she said as they joined the others. So what world are we visiting this time? Naruto asked, as he rubbed his cheek to get rid of the pain from it being pinched. According to the computer, this word is called Atlantis, Mando said, as Naruto and Lulu stepped onto their teleporters. Well, let's do this. They probably have a princess here that needs to be warned about the Heartless, Shigo said with her arms crossed. Heartless Paddock, Stitch yelled with a fist pump. Who wants to bet this princess falls for Whiskers too? Logan asked with a smirk. That's a sucker's bet, as we all know it's going to happen anyway, Mando said, sounding amused. Hey, it's not like I do that on purpose, Naruto said with a pout. We know Naruto, Tifa said with a smile. They're just jealous of you, Whiskers, Lightning said with a smirk. I'm not jealous of a kid that has zero experience with women, Logan said. I don't know. His record so far with attracting women is pretty good, Helen said with a smile. Oh please, a mermaid, a crossdresser, and that garage jockey are only 3, and that's not that impressive, Logan said, with his arms crossed. What are we, chopped liver? Tinkerbell asked, with an unhappy look. What, someone on the team like me? Naruto asked Tinkerbell. Lovable idiot, the women on the team thought together, as they beamed down to the new world. Caves. This is Atlantis? Doesn't look like much, Tifa said as they arrived in a caveway that led forward. Obviously it leads to this Atlantis itself, Shigo said. Suddenly they all heard a loud roaring sound, which made the walls shake and some rocks fell. Garnet grabbed Naruto's hand so she wouldn't fall. What was that? She asked as she looked around. I don't know, but whatever it was, it's fighting something just ahead, Mando said, as he tapped his helmet showing he had a reading. The group followed him, and eventually they came to a cliff above a wide area, where a creature was fighting some humans in tribal giant masks. Whoa, you have competition for most animal-like fighter, Logan, Naruto said, as he looked at this beast sending some of the warriors flying with a swing of its arms. This thing is fighting blindly, Lightning said, as she observed the fight with a calculating look. Really? He looks like he's winning to me, Helen said. No, she's right, Naruto said as he could see it too. Wearing him down, Stitch said with a nod of his head. The creature roared at the humans attacking it. Where is Belle? He yelled in fury. Whoa, this thing can talk, Shigo said in shocked surprise. I know you work for the Heartless, so talk, the creature yelled as he grabbed a warrior and held its claws to the mask of the warrior. This made Naruto and his group frown hearing this. This guy isn't bad, but he's obviously confused, Naruto said as he jumped down to confront the creature. Great, there he goes, Logan said with a frown, as this was pretty reckless. You expected less from him at this point? Mando asked, as they followed after Naruto to back him up just in case. Good point, Logan said with a shrug of his shoulders. Naruto stopped when he was close to the creature. Whoa now, let's not do anything we will regret later, he said, getting the creature's attention. Who are you, another that works with the Heartless? The creature demanded. Naruto shook his head as he replied, No, my name is Naruto, and I fight against the Heartless. The creature looked at Naruto with anger in his eyes. Prove it, he said. Naruto summoned his Keyblade in its normal form, making the warriors gasp and start to bow to Naruto. Okay, I wasn't expecting that kind of reaction, Naruto said, as this was a first. A Keyblade? I have heard stories about those from my mother long ago, the creature said in awe. Then you know I'm not with the Heartless. So please, let the warrior you're holding go, and let's talk this out peacefully, Naruto said. The creature looked at the warrior he was still holding, and finally he let them go, allowing them to fall to the ground, which made the warrior's mask fall off, showing it was a woman. She had white long hair and brown skin. She had blue-colored tattoos which represented teardrops and large blue eyes. She was also wearing a shard of what looked like a crystal around her neck. She was wearing a simple blue bikini, with the top being a strapless bandeau, while the bottoms are covered with a sarong-type skirt, a gold jewelry earring on her right ear, while a band was on her left arm, an anklet that was on her right ankle, and she was barefoot. The woman pulled a knife out and was about to lunge at the creature when Naruto appeared behind her and grabbed her wrist, stopping her. The woman turned to look at Naruto and said something in a language he couldn't understand. Huh? Want to try that again? Naruto asked, with a raised eyebrow. Let me go, the woman yelled, as she struggled to get out of his grip. Sorry, can't do that, Mr. Ooh, Naruto said, as he looked at the creature obviously wanting a name. Call me Beast, the creature said, while crossing his arms over his chest. Beast stood down, so you should too so we can settle this without anyone getting hurt, Naruto said, while looking at the woman. Fine, but I'm only doing this because you have the Keyblade in your possession. If he does something to my people, it's on you, the woman said, as she thrusted a finger in his face. You're a princess? Naruto asked, as he let her go in surprise. Yes, I am Kita Kakashi, the woman said, as she stood tall. Kadaka wa? Naruto asked, as that was a really hard name to pronounce. She gave a sigh, before saying, Just call me Kita. And what are you called? She then asked him. Call me Naruto, and these are my friends, Naruto said, as he waved at his friends, who approached them. These are your escorts? Kita asked with a raised eyebrow, as she looked at Naruto's friends, and she stopped and smiled at Gragu, who waved at her. We are more his teammates and friends, than escorts, Tifa said, while crossing her arms. Yaga, friends, Stitch said, piping up wearing Kita's giant mask, making everyone jump in surprise. Don't do that, Lulu said, as she snatched the mask from Stitch, who whined that his fun was over. What kind of creature is this? Kita asked, looking at Stitch who was picking his nose with his tongue. We still aren't completely sure, Shigo said with a flat look. I'm cute and fluffy, Stitch yelled proudly, with his hands on his hips. Yup, that's Stitch, Naruto said with a smile at his friend. Excuse me, but I still want to know where Belle is, Beast yelled, getting frustrated. Okay. Look, we don't know anyone named Belle, Mando said. Are you even from this world? Lightning asked, as just looking at Beast she could tell he stood out from Kita and the other warriors. No, some voodoo man sent me here when I tried to stop him from taking Belle, Beast said, while growling just thinking about the man who took Belle from him. Voodoo? Naruto asked curiously. A type of magic, Lightning said to him. Was this Belle a princess? Lightning asked Beast curiously. Not to my knowledge, but she is as kind as one, Beast said softly, with a happy look on his face. Then this voodoo man was most likely working with Maleficent, and took her as one of the 7 they need to open the door, Garnet said with realization. Beast growled hearing this, and slammed one of his fists into the rock wall, making a few cracks appear. Whoa there, big guy, relax. We are actually trying to find her, and the others that were taken, Logan said, as he tried to calm him down. The Beast's eyes widened hearing this. You are? He asked, looking at Naruto with a hopeful look in his eyes. Absolutely, we won't rest until we find them. Plus, they are after me too, Naruto said, while thinking of Hinata. Then I will join you on your journey, Beast said with determination in his voice. This got surprised looks from Naruto's friends. Are you sure this is a good idea? Helen whispered to Tifa. Well, he may be more of a loose cannon than Logan, but I'm sure Naruto will make the right decision, Tifa said with a shrug of her shoulders. Sure, welcome aboard, Naruto said with a smile as he walked over to Beast and struck his hand out for him to shake. Or he could just blindly trust him, Lightning said, pinching her nose, feeling exhausted with everything that Naruto's done so far. When do we leave? Beast asked, ready and raring to go. Whoa, hold on there. I like your enthusiasm, but we need to find the keyhole first, so this world won't ever be destroyed by the heartless, Naruto said. You would seal the keyhole, saving us? Kita asked with a hopeful look, as the heartless were slowly getting into the city, despite the best efforts of her fellow warriors trying to keep them out. Of course I would. Do you have any idea where it is? Naruto asked, turning to look at Kita as he hoped that she did. I'm afraid not, but my father might. Come, I shall escort you to see him, Kita said, as she grabbed Naruto's hand and started pulling him with her towards the city. The others followed after them, with everyone keeping an eye out in case of any heartless attacks. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 4. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and authors KFB, Anime 87 and Thanatos 125 on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.